All right, greetings everyone. Let's see here.
This enchanted lullaby.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is, and each person should find that truth out for his or herself.
This enchanted lullaby. This enchanted lullaby.
You know what? Global family, look in the mirror. I want you to take a good look. You are the champion, the hero of your story. No matter how much praise you may give some of us who may help you journey, it is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Tony, again, I give you accolades for, I don't even know what to say, for all the efforts, man, that you put in my behalf.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is.
It is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Person should find that truth out for his or herself.
To help you see.
For his or herself.
Okay. All right. Greetings, everyone. This is Metaphysics Speaks in the spirit of Dr. Deborah Blair, and this is your host, Tony. Hope all of you are doing well within your space and time. I mentioned time. There is only 1,440 minutes in a day. No matter what your belief system is or who you may pray to, you are not going to get even 1 minute more added to your life. So use your time wisely. Before we even get into anything dealing with tonight, I hope you have your favorite beverage of choice. My beverage tonight is just some water. I'm kind of eating some kale salad as well. And that's all for me. But I hope you have your favorite beverage before we begin our conversation. Okay, so everything seems to be operating properly here. Okay, so let's get into a few things here before we get into the meat of tonight's show, which is a new concept that was brought about for some very specific reasons. But before I get to that, I'm going to show something here. One moment. So, all right, so if you did not know, this upcoming weekend, let's see here, you will see it here. Okay, so this upcoming weekend, we actually are having the first flight for Project Etheric, where we're sending an atmospheric balloon up to gather data in the stratosphere. Okay, so that's going to be absolutely amazing. At this point, we're aiming probably for more than likely for Saturday. We were going to do it Friday, but in the Chicago, Fridays are crazy hectic. It's just all type of things going on. So more than likely it's going to be Saturday. And so each day I have to keep checking the weather. I have to keep checking the wind speed. And there's other variables that that we have to recalculate what goes on with this particular launch. So, but we'll be having it in a few days. It'll be absolutely wonderful. We're going to be having, of course, video of the balloon actually going up into the stratosphere and so forth, but also you'll see pictures of the gear and all types of just random things that you will see when that time comes. So that is, of course, this weekend. So I appreciate everyone who has been putting in, who have been patronizing, and have been even doing a bit extra by donating toward the project, no matter how large or small. It is greatly appreciated because it helps to curb some of the costs that we do incur. So if you are interested in that, you can, in the description, you will find a projectetheric.com link where you can find all information about it, even just to learn more. Okay, so that's all there. So what else here? Of course, we all seeing what is happening all around us, and as you all know, I tend to, for a while now, because we got deep into a lot of this nonsense before it even happened. And of course, during most of last year, the conversation was much more serious about whether it be family and everything else. So then kind of let that go and just got into other subject matter entirely. But we all see the lunacy that is going on around us. And a very interesting video has been coming out all across social media. And you're going to find on the metaphysicspeaks.com website. Some of you are familiar with that website, which is kind of like a YouTube style like website where the videos are very created. So videos that tend to give you something, whether it be audio books where you actually will learn something, or just fascinating discoveries that are happening around us, or even lore or myth that actually have some substance to it. So that particular website is Metaphysics, the S, and it speaks with the S.com. But on that website, you're going to see a video that's going to be put up maybe later on this evening of this this gentleman who worked for a pig feed company. Okay, and so the company he worked for took in food from like grocery stores and so forth, and made it into pig feed. Now, what you're going to see with this video, this same thing happens with dog feed, chicken feed, turkey feed, and so on and so forth. But this gentleman worked at a pig feed company, and you're going to see tons of just bread, all types of the food that, as a healthy person, you would typically want to avoid. Okay, in the grocery store aisles, it's the ones that's all filled with preservatives and everything else. So you're going to see tons of cookies, crackers, rats. Okay, and everything is still in the boxes. Okay, so it hasn't been taken out of the box, and you're going to see it all still in plastic wraps as well. All of that goes into the area where they crush it all up, and then from that point they heat it up, and that is what the pigs eat. So the pigs are eating not only just thrown away spoiled food, which is, whatever, one way or another, but they're also eating plastic, literal plastic. They're also eating literal boxes and so on and so forth, and of course rats and everything else. So you're going to see this video. Okay, and he got fired for putting up this video, for exposing this. Okay, and so so you'll see that later on the Metaphysics Speaks website. So I see everybody in the chat room here. Greetings to all of you, and it looks like everyone also is here in the Zoom as well. Yep, everyone is here in the Zoom. 1, 2, 3. So it looks like it's an extra person there. Okay, no, I do see. So everyone's here in the Zoom as well, all of our guests tonight. So let's talk about what inspired this show. Now, today's going to be the first episode, so it may be a little bit of hiccups here and there and everything else as we get everything flowing for this, because there's some specific things that I'm creating specifically for this Wednesday episode that you will start to see week after week after week. But what started this was, many of you know that consultations have been available on the website for years, and there's only 1,440 minutes in a day. So how you use your minutes is extremely important. Okay, and that's why that whole phrase was created in the first place, 1440. Okay, and the whole intro to our conversation that we have on the podcast. So the Zoom address is open for those who are on today's show only. Okay, so if you want to be on today's show, someone asked a question in the chat room, asking what is the Zoom connection information. And so if you want to be on a future show to ask a question, whatever it may be, then submit your information. You'll see the link in the description, which is the Manifestation Wednesdays. Now, when we do our regular podcast, I'm also going to do a Zoom link for that where everybody could just call in if you want to. That would be open. But for this Manifestation Wednesdays, you have to pretty much pre-book yourself into the show. Okay, so you will see the link in the description. Click on that link, put your information in. So many people have put their information in that you don't have to put it in multiple times. Once you put it in once, you get the thank you on the screen for submitting. We did receive it, and eventually you will be on the show. As long as correct information. If you put fake information, you're not going to be on the show. Okay, because some people did do that, and I'm actually doing some astrological work on you, and it has to be real. You're wasting my time. It's only 1,440 minutes. So now going back to what I was saying here, there's only 1,440 minutes in a day. So we do a lot of important work behind the scenes. And over the last few months, we have been thinking and contemplating about what method would give the most powerful results. Okay, it's not that having singular conversations one-on-one, because the consultations were typically an hour long. Okay, so an hour long, and it's getting about whatever subject matter the person who wants the consultation wants to talk about. A lot of times it can be about anything. So people talk about history, religion, whatever. So, but it's an hour dedicated to them about that. And many times what I would do, depending upon what the subject matter is that the person who has the consultation wants to talk about, I would do a more detailed astrological chart on them for my notes, so that when they talk about certain things, I could bring out just maybe certain phenomena you need to watch out for, or certain dangers, or just giving more insight about the path that they're on. So I can only do so many of those in a day. And because we're going into more scientific endeavors like Project Etheric and so on and so forth, and then what we're working on is going to affect and has affected many more people than just these singular consultations. Consultations as of August 1st, okay, as of August 1st will end. There will be no more consultations, one-on-one consultations as of August 1st. And that's, of course, the general over-the-phone consultations. But because of that, and because a lot of you all do depend on our services, this is what brought about the Manifestation Wednesdays. Okay, so it's totally free. It's not costing you anything. But there are certain rules to this Wednesday show as we move forward with this. Okay, so it's totally free. Just submit your info on the link that you see in the description. Why would I like your birth details and your birth time and stuff like that, right? Because I do a micro chart on you. And so, cause I don't know, one of the rules is also that I don't know what you're going to ask or what your issue is, okay? And I purposely don't want to know, so the conversation could be fresh. But it gives me a little bit of insight into you, because typically when a person did a consultation in person, I will look at you and I'll be able to tell you about your whole life without anything, okay? But because we're not face to face and other variables are in this, I would like to have at least a little bit of notes about the certain aspects of yourself. So just in case you ask something very specific, I can give you as much insight as I'm able to. So with that, when it comes to these Wednesday shows, it's only one concern per guest, okay? One concern per guest. So whatever you're right now as we speak, especially those who are in the Zoom right now listening, one concern one concern per guest. So whatever that your major concern is in this time, whether it be family, whether it be financial, whether it be trying to move to the next level in whatever you're trying to do, whatever. But I just ask you to be as open, as honest as you're able to, and hopefully you can have you are in full spectrum honesty, 100% honesty. The more honest you are, the more possible change you will receive. If it gets into territory where you may be exposing too much personal information, I will cut in, because I'm not going to allow that. I'm not going to allow you to, because this will be on YouTube and so on and so forth. So those in the Zoom chat, you don't have to worry about that. I am actively looking out for you in that regard. None of your personal information that you gave me will be put out either. So it's one concern per guest, but you can be on the show as many times as you like. So if you, after your one concern, if you have more concerns, then go back to the link, okay, on the website, put your information in again, and then you will come back into the queue on a show sooner or later, okay? So you could keep doing that 100 times if you feel like it, okay? But it's only one concern per guest, at least for now, so we can see the flow of the show. So I see the chat room is full of people. Greetings to all of you all. Hope you're doing well all within your space and time. Okay. So again, if you're interested, if this all sounds interesting to you so far, click on that link in the description. So another aspect of this here, now okay, so let me see this. So first, I would like to take my hat off to those who did put your information in. Okay, so when you've seen this, me advertise Manifestation Wednesdays a few days ago, whether it be through a text message, whether it be through the newsletter that people receive, whether it be on Instagram or some of the other social platforms, my hat goes off to you. And this is the reason why. Typically, when it comes to, when everyone knows there's $1 million behind the door one, right? There's 3 doors and door one has $1 million behind it, and everyone knows it. Everyone wants to be the first one through the door, okay? But life is more so like the mystery of the first episode of like a show like this, okay? People did not know what to expect with this. You understand what I'm saying? It's totally a mystery. They know who I am. They know what the Meta Center is about. But for the most part, they don't know what's going to happen. And some people didn't even know what the Meta Center is about. They say, oh, Manifestation Wednesdays, I want to express or find information on something. I'm going to put my information in. So that is such a brave soul to do that. To literally don't know what is going to happen, and to give your information without knowing anything that's going to happen. Now, let me tell you what that does. Now, again, about 80 people signed up to be on the show, okay? I'm only doing 4 to 5 people per show, just so everyone knows. 4 to 5 people per show, depending upon how the conversations go. If they go pretty long, then there's going to be less people each show. If it goes pretty short, there's going to be more people the next show. So again, we're building this as we go. So take heed to that. So with that, to go into the unknown, to put forth your information without knowing, to expose yourself in that way without having an inkling of what exactly would take place, good or not so good or whatever, that in itself tells the universe, tells the creator, tells the spirit, or some say the logos, tells it that you are ready for some type of change. Do you understand what I'm saying? You are open for some type of change to take place. Okay? So you most certainly get a hand clap from me across space and time, because that took a lot. There are many people here who will eventually want to be on the show, right? But they want to see how the first show goes first, right? They want to see what type of conversations take place and what type of insight will be had, Okay, which is understandable. Hey, I get it. But this also says much, much more than that. So much love to all of you all who are in the Zoom chat, and also all of you, like 80 plus people who submitted your information just when you seen that first text message, when you seen that first newsletter or that first social media post. That says a lot, and that's one example of how manifestation works. Okay? One example. Okay? You know, you go, you know, forthright. You go, you know, with your mind focus, and you're projecting what you want to project within certain space for it to become what you're trying to achieve. Okay, so we got people here from all over the U.S. We got some people here from a few people from the West Indies. We got a handful from the UK. We got like 3 or 4 people from Africa, the continent of Africa, all here. So, yeah. So, what else do I want to say here real quick here before? So I got into the rules already. Only thing your concerns cannot be, and this is going to be for every show, you cannot allude to try to become rich or powerful. That's muwa, that's M-U-W-A, that's a muwa type of activity, and I'm not going to go into that territory at all. So that's just that. So what else? So let us begin, okay? In the beginning, in this space, there was an entity. For simplicity, let us call this entity God, okay? Quote, God, unquote, okay? This God created the heaven and the earth. And through this process, this God stated a few things. One of them was, let there be light, and the outcome of which there was light. The word. Spoken words are a melody of vibration, a clashing of frequencies when spoke. They bring about certain changes. These changes can be as major as creating a world, or as minor as ordering your meal in the drive-thru at a restaurant. Words are made up of letters. These letters have a meaning and a sound. When you combine together these letters that each individually have a meaning and a sound, you create a word. When you string together words, you have a sentence. When multiple sentences are flowing between 2 or more people, this is called a conversation. As we begin our conversation tonight, as it springs together because of a word. And so, the first soul we have tonight, Global Collective, who are here in the present and who will be listening in the future. Let's all take a deep breath together. Through your nose, a deep breath. A moment. Exhale through your mouth. Let's inhale again through your nose. Let's hold it for a moment. Let's exhale through our mouth. All right. So, our first guest tonight will be Athena. Okay, so our first guest tonight will be Athena. You won't be able to see her face or anything like that, but you will be able to hear her voice. I'm about to bring her in now. So, okay, Athena, unmute your phone if it's muted. Of course, everyone who's listening on the YouTube, we are dealing with multiple people, multiple different systems, and everybody has to get their thing going. So let's be patient. And while she's connecting here, I appreciate you all. Let me tell you something that I appreciate, because I do, there's many people who are listening and watch the show, and we all pay attention to everything that's happening. You'd be surprised how many people do. And on the last show, for example, it was a quick live that we did for the Project Etheric launch. And I haven't did a pure live in a while, so I was getting the systems going. I was having a little bit of a technical issue, and I was trying to get it together as quickly as possible. And it was personal too in the chat room saying, "Hurry up!" Pretty much being a bit ignorant. Okay. And one of you all, now this person who was doing that was a new person. I've never seen that person ever on our podcast at all. But one of you all who is a listener said, "Take your time, Tony. We're here," and that's just that, right? And so it's all seen and it's all appreciated. Okay, good energy, man. Good energy. So shout out to that person, who you are, who said that. It's just the fact that we're all here as a collective. And humanity itself has to be patient with each other as we move forth if we want those positive outcomes to take place. Okay, Athena, I hear you. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So let's give a hand clap. Okay, that's what's up. So, as you heard, were you able to listen in the?
No, I had just stepped away because I didn't think it was going to start.
Oh.
So I just walked back in the room.
Oh, okay. All right. So in short, one question, right? Of your highest concern, whatever that may be. Okay. And if you have more concerns, after that, you could resubmit your information again, and eventually you'll be back on the show again to ask another question. Okay, or to express your concern, whether it be with yourself, the world, family, whatever it may be. So, just for the audience sake, what state are you calling from, Athena?
North Carolina.
All right. So, what is at this time of the utmost concern for you?
The biggest concern would be that I know I have some type of heart blockage because I don't it's like I don't know, I got a heart blockage, and I know it because my concern about other people, I'm concerned about everybody on one level, but on the other level I really don't care about. And I want to get a relationship, but it's putting a blockage on it because I can get with somebody, but whatever they tell me, I never believe them. It's not like I go and check and be, trying to find out what they're doing and stuff, but I just don't believe them. And I feel like that is some type of blockage in my heart, and I don't know where it's coming from. Okay. But it's been there a long time, probably ever since I was a child.
Okay, so let's explore that. So what you explained there about even checking into, maybe the private details of someone that you may be, of course, we're talking about relationships here, correct?
Yeah, we're talking about relationships, but it can even be with my mom. She's still living. I don't even talk to her. Outwardly, it's not like every day I'm walking around angry with her. I feel like all parents could have did something different in the background, but even concern, and with her it's more well, she's the mom, I'm the child, she not looking for me. So, I know where she's at, but why wouldn't she be reaching out to me? And it also goes in relationships with guys too. I've been in relationships before. I don't think I ever been in love with anybody. It might have been some deep lust, but because I care, but only to a certain point.
Gotcha. So the root of that is distrust, right? So let's explore that a little bit. Let's go back to your childhood. How was your upbringing?
I was raised around my family, but it was horrible. Ever since I can remember, from 3 or whatever, everything that was everything been blamed on me. I have an older brother, and him and my mom was real bonded, and it's always been that way. So like, and then my dad, he wasn't around. Like, they was married, but then like one of the first stories I was told that he kicked her in the stomach when she was 8 months pregnant with me, and like I met him a couple of times. He passed away now, but he wasn't concerned either. I ended up cussing him out before he passed away.
So, all right. So, and that's the thing about having a conversation, right? Because even just having a legitimate, open conversation, even some of the things that you will say will answer some of your own, let's say, questions or concerns, right? So, and you mentioning many of the things that you name deal with distrust. And in this distrust, you name a lot of pretty much drama or negative activity as a child that children really should not be exposed to, that will make them a well-rounded person, right, without any trauma. Okay, so you almost pretty much named that yourself. Upbringing, as you said, was horrible. I'm going to get a little bit more detail into that, but horrible. Even being mom being pregnant with you, lack of love in the household. These issues that many people have, especially in these times, it leads to having the blockages that you express, and it leads to other types of issues like violence and stuff like that as well, that we see all around us in this society. So, but you also say that you are concerned about people a little bit too much, but then when it's concerned too much in one way but not enough in another way, right?
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
let me ask you this: how is your personal life right now? Now, I'm not talking about relationship-wise. I mean, how are you taking care of yourself? I mean, would you say it's perfect, or would you say it needs some work? How would you gauge your quality of life right now?
Um, it's definitely not perfect, and I guess I use avoidance a lot. Like, I work 6 days a week, so, and then when I'm there, work is work, so but so I don't really have like a personal life. Then I go home. Sometimes I'm drinking, and sometimes I don't drink, but I'm still just sitting at home. So it's not like, and then the coronavirus, that's different too, but I can't really blame it on that, because before it even started, it's not like I go out and stuff. I just go to work, and then I go back home.
Do you have any? So we know how it is with the males, but do you have any women friends, female friends
I
at all?
mean, I
Okay.
I have a couple of, people I associate with. Sometimes I don't have one like I would call my best friend or something like that. That's been a long time. That's been like since elementary school, saying like a best friend or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because like, even with females, like the distrust, like a lot of times when I meet people, like in new situations, put in a new situation with somebody, a lot of times I keep the interaction to like the lowest possible, and I just watch them, because some people you don't even, you might don't want to hang out with them for different reasons, something they might be doing, and you don't do that, so you don't want to be involved in it.
Yeah, that stems from the distrust, that you keep people at a distance because you don't want to get hurt in some form or fashion. So let me ask you this. Do you find yourself, when a person were to ask of you something, do you find yourself being, let's say, being dependable from your end, but then when you ask others of something or need something, they pretty much let you down? Do you have that issue at all? Or at least used to have that issue at all?
Even if the issue, I would say that's how I feel. Like, so I'm dependable. People, sometimes they call me when they know they need something, or even when they need to know something, they'll call me and ask me, but I don't feel like that is somebody that I can necessarily. I always tell people, if I don't do what I have to do for myself, then I'm lost, like, I don't have anybody I can call and say, hey, can you do this for me real quick, or this and that and the third. I gotta like depend on myself.
All right, so there's a few things here, right? Because, all right, so the world around us, okay, so we have, because of the way the world is, right? Because of all the external events that have took place to bring the world currently to its place that we're all living and experiencing. It started, of course, a few generations ago with we consider our great-grandmothers and great-grandfathers and stuff like that, right? Even before that. But with that, we all need each other, okay? In various ways, some of us are able to sustain ourselves and be alone and not have to necessarily depend on anyone, but everything around you has been created by someone. Do you understand what I'm saying? So even if you say, I am totally self-sufficient, and let's say everyone would agree you are totally self-sufficient, but still, even the clothes you have on your back, you didn't make those. Even when it comes to the
Right.
food, you didn't grow those. You didn't grow that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So in actuality, we all need each other. What is your current weight and height?
I'm 5'7 3/4", and yesterday I weighed 167.
Okay. All right. So there's a few things here. So first, what I would say, so you have childhood trauma, okay? And at this point, at your age you are now, unless you want to tell the audience your age, I'm not going to say your age, but at the age you are now, you should, if you was going to get over it on your own, you would get over it by now. Now, there's no time limit on one getting over trauma, but as one becomes older in life, they tend to stick, the issues just tend to stick around, the long story short, okay, versus having the higher likelihood of finally being able to get over it on your own, okay? There are people who are able to, let's see something here, okay? There are people who are able to get past childhood trauma literally on their own without any external help. It can take, for some people, a while. For some people, it's a little bit quicker, but it's a lot of work, and that tends to happen at a younger age. By the time one gets to, say, your age, do you mind telling the audience, just to give an idea of how old you are, so they kind of, or you don't want to do that? Either way, it's
I'm
fine.
45.
Okay, so she's 45. So that gives a little bit of context for those who may be listening, who may be going through similar, okay? So to give the audience an idea here, as well as yourself, the type of trauma, and of course in the many communities, especially around the world, but of course most of us are in America, some type of childhood trauma is there, okay? And many people are experiencing it. So typically by the age, let's say, that I have seen through my studies and through my own life as well, okay, because I mean, I'm here with you all as well, right? We grew up in the same communities and anything else too, right? And so even if it wasn't
Yeah.
directly in the house, it may have been in a friend's house. Even if it made it directly in the house, it was still on the block. You get what I'm saying? So still
Yeah.
exposed to trauma in some form or fashion. So typically what I have seen in my decades of work is that a person who's able to get through it on their own, it typically happens earlier in life, right? About the time they become 35, 40, 45, 50, if they have not got it done before that 35, 30 age range, it tends, remnants of the trauma tend to stick around for a lot longer. And then as they even get older, it tends to be a part of their personality, so it becomes literally them. So the trauma that they were at one point looking at it as an external thing, like my mom or my pops or my family, or this happened to me externally, then becomes literally a part of them. So now it's not an external factor anymore. It's literally them. Every waking moment becomes a trauma-filled moment. You understand what I'm saying here? So with that, when a person is in your scenario, there's a few things here. First, you do need some type of therapy. It's not anything wrong with that whatsoever. Okay, don't think of it anything as like it's a bad thing. Oh no, this is a caring person here. Okay, one caring person to a person who is looking for a potential answer so that they can move on and be the best version of themselves that they can be. Okay, so one aspect is therapy. that, and you should do some research. You should look at reviews. You should, if you don't feel comfortable with a person, it's not necessarily expensive at all. Sometimes they only like $30, $40, $50 a session. So it's not expensive. And if you only went once a month, that's better than not going at all. Do you understand what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
and it may be a little scary or intimidating at first, but from me to you, who's seeking, I mean, you're on this show. I mean, come on. So you came on the show to get an answer or to get answers. And so because of that, obviously it's meant for you to get this answer for leading a more fulfilled and holistic life. So now with that being said, so therapy, number one, okay? Number two, there's an affirmation that I'm thinking of as I'm speaking to you right now that I would like you to say not only when you wake up in the mirror, but even throughout your day, okay, to yourself. Now, this is not, you should still go to therapy, but this is something that you will also do. You can do it while you're going to therapy, while you're also correcting those things within your life that you feel that need correcting, okay?
Okay.
I would like you to say, I am here, everyone. I'm just formulating this in my mind because it's all live as we go along here, right? So I would like you to say, I have the ability to love. I have the ability to love.
I have the ability to love.
Well, you don't have to say it now, but this is me repeating myself, but that's up to you if you choose to, okay? I have the ability to love, and I can be loved. So I have the ability to love, and I can be loved. I'm writing this down just in case we speak later. Okay, I'm writing this down on the notes. So you all who are listening, I print out, so I keep notes and all that stuff so that, and this is how I do even with a personal consultation, so that in the future, if something happens or whatever, you have a follow-up, I can look at the notes and see if I don't remember what we talked about or what affirmation was given and stuff like that, okay? So I have the ability to love, and I can be loved. I am trustworthy and can trust.
Okay.
That's it for now. So I have the ability to love, and I can be loved. I am trustworthy and can trust. What your attribute of your makeup is like one of the most powerful attributes that you have is your dependability. And that's the reason why I asked you, do you find that people call you for things, right? But then when you need to depend on them, you can't, because you are the one who is the dependable one. Okay? That doesn't mean you should be taken advantage of now, but you are that one that people do come to within your circle that is considered the dependable one. That's not a fault, just have to be conscientious of where you put your trust when it comes to that, okay? So that is this someone not asking the same thing over and over again, or just using you for something that you have, okay?
Right. Okay.
What colors on a daily basis, let's say if you had to say, during the week, what color do you wear the most during the week?
Black. but I like pink too. I wear partly the black is for work, but I do wear black and I like pink.
Okay. The reason why you like pink because one of your power colors is mauve, okay, or mauve, which is kind of like a purplish, pinkish kind of color. Okay. So the thing about it is, you may wear. I take it you wear black for work, or is that just the color that you just wear on a normal basis, just because?
No, I have to wear black. I either have to wear there's certain colors I have to wear at work. One of them is gray. I really don't like that red, and I really don't like red, so I mostly stick with the black.
Okay. So you shouldn't wear black at all. All right. So black is even a depressed color, and coincidentally, it's a reflection, in this case, of, we could say, your internal state. Okay. Black is the color of, which is typically, when we get into planetary astrology, is the color of Saturn. Is the color of even judgment and stuff like that. Okay. So especially if one is dealing with certain internal emotional states, right? You don't want to wear a color like that if you're feeling a certain way, right? Because it's going to make you feel even worse. So for you, you should try to wear more colors such as, again, the pink is fine, or the mauve, which is like a light purplish pink, or pale blue, okay, light blue, or even white. Okay, try to stick to more lighter colors, and
Okay.
over time you will feel that, like, even when you see yourself in the mirror wearing this lighter color, you won't feel as down and or depressed because of the circumstances that may be going on, and because of the childhood trauma that seems to be lingering around. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with that, and of course, for everyone, this is for you and for everyone listening, for the people in the Zoom, people on the podcast, always meditate. Okay, meditation, you should be meditating all the time anyway. Okay, so meditate as well. Okay, take at least 5 minutes a day, at least that, to, well, okay, I'm gonna give you in the book Lessons. Okay, so it's a book on the website called Lessons. One of the chapters deals with living within your heart and finding peace within your heart. Okay, now specifically dealing with peace specifically, okay, to have a place that you can rest. But what I would like you to do, which is a modified version of that, is, and then you will work on this pretty much probably for the rest of your life, okay, that when you do take that 5 minutes at least to meditate and have your quiet space for at least that moment, I want you to visualize yourself within your heart, literally. Now, your heart, it doesn't have to be like, it doesn't have to be my description of what a heart is, or it doesn't have to be any of the people in the chat room's description of what a heart should be or what it means to live in your heart. It's what it means to you, okay? But in that place that's within your heart, I would like you to take the time to visualize it more detailed each and every time. Okay, try to get more detail. So if, especially as a woman, if you like things to be, if you like flowers everywhere, okay, what kind of flowers do you like everywhere? Okay, those that are within your heart as well. Okay, if you like fabrics flowing like in the wind, okay, cool. Have fabrics in there too. And what kind of fabrics? What color? Those, whatever color, like pink in that as well, right? So in your heart, you're pretty much decorating the space within your heart. And when you meditate, that is the space that you go to. Do you understand?
Okay.
Do, do,
Yeah.
do you got that?
Yeah.
Okay, so it may seem sometime, again, still should do therapy, okay? Because therapy deals with the mind, okay? And these thought forms that you express, they deal with the mind. What I'm telling you here deals with the heart now. You got that? So,
I have been to therapy before,
mhm.
and like the last time I ended up, I decided not to go back because I was in a bad relationship and it was abusive, and I was trying to get out of it. And the therapist asked me that I want her to invite him. So when she did that, I just, thought to myself, I won't be coming back to her no more because evidently she's not trying to help me.
if you were to ask me, like if you were to ask me, like, should I be in a relationship? I would say no, because you're only going to attract, you're either going to bring in the drama or trauma yourself, or you're going to attract that from the outside. Do you understand? As
Yeah.
you express, and the reason why I'm saying understand, because I know you understand, right? You sound very
Yeah.
intelligent. You sound intelligent, right? And even when you
Yeah.
expressed in the beginning of this conversation what the issue is, I said, well, you just told what the issue is. You express, you feel you have a heart blockage, but then you end up expressing what the actual issue of the heart blockage is. Okay, so and that tends to happen a lot with conversations and consultations with me. But with that, it still doesn't mean that you shouldn't see a therapist. That's not the right one, okay?
Okay.
At all. So don't. It's like saying someone you went, you were looking for something. Somebody gave you the bad advice, so you just gave up on life. No. You keep moving. You keep this going, and that's that person who just gave you bad advice or whatever it may be. So you don't negate the fact that it could potentially help. All right. So, but the issue of trauma that deals with the mind. Okay. Also we talked about the heart, and that deals with you meditating within your heart. When it comes to relationships, especially in these times, people are better together than alone. But because there is so much trauma going on within so many communities, in this case, pretty much it's so destructive in a way that it may be better for some people, at least for a time, to be alone, to get themselves up to par before they start to invite people in again. So with that, in most of the relationships that you probably have been in and or may have, you're either, if you don't correct or somehow minimize the effects of the trauma, you are either going to bring the trauma into the relationship, or you're going to tend to those type of people are going to tend to be attracted to you, and it's always going to be drama. Drama people tend to bring drama people, and I'm not calling you a drama queen, but that's what tends to happen. I know you understand what I'm saying here. You understand it. So that's for now what I would say. I hope that you do the meditation, that you do the affirmation, and that you do find another therapist that's up to that you feel. It's about what you feel comfortable with. Okay, so don't just first one you see say I'm just going to do it. No, whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay, and the one that you feel comfortable with, that's the one that, and it should be about you and your life and the trauma, right?
Okay.
So for now, if you do have further questions, you can go back to the page. You can input your information again, and you'll be back on a future show. But then if you come back on a future show, I'm going to ask you, right? Because depending upon what you're asking, I'm going to ask you, have you done any of what we spoke on? So I'm going to put you on the spot.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay? So now the road, let me say this to anybody who may be in a similar situation. At times, the road is not easy. Okay? So I'm already pre-warning you, it may not be easy. That's for anyone listening, no matter what what may be happening. Okay? So someone already told you it might not be easy, so when the time comes and it's not necessarily easy, you're not surprised. But with that, if you are, you have the ability to get past it. All humans do have the ability to get past the situations that we have in life. So I want to thank you for having the courage to be on this live, and until the next time we speak.
Thank you.
Thank you, Athena. So let's give her a hand clap for being on. All right, so Athena, you're going to be put back in the waiting room. You should be able to hear me there. It says people could hear me there. So and you can listen from that point, or you could go on YouTube and listen there. It's your choice.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. All right. So that was Athena. So let me also put this out there.
Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose.
Okay, you heard that? That was Yoda, the wise Yoda. Okay, and one more time for the people in the back.
Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose. You must unlearn what you have learned.
Okay, so you must unlearn what you have learned. Okay, and you must let go. So let us continue on here. So the next caller we have tonight, let's see, is, oh yes, it looks like she is on. So the next caller we have is Mary. Okay, so Mary, I'm bringing you in now. Okay, how you doing? See me unmute you here. All right. Greetings, Mary.
Greetings. How are you today, Tony?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
I'm fine, thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so what brings you on today's show?
Okay, for me, I want to be better at manifesting. I don't know if there's anything maybe showing in my chart, or maybe you could tell me something that's preventing me from actualizing my manifestations. I can do small things, but I feel I have the power within me to manifest even bigger things. Um, I just need maybe the process.
Okay, so let's dive deep into that. And of course, it's about you and not about me necessarily, because a lot of people will listen to the show. And so, so let me ask you this. Give an example of a small manifestation that you were able to figure out in whatever way on your own, that you know that you manifested that.
My husband, I knew that I was going to marry him, even though at the moment I had to leave the state that we were in. I knew eventually I would come back and marry him, and I did. And just wanted to be in solitude by myself, and I did that because that's what I'm doing now. So
Okay. What are you trying to manifest that may be giving you a little bit of difficulty?
well, right now my biggest manifestation in my heart that I want to do is to go to the Himalayan mountains. And I just need the process, or see if there's some blockage. I seem like I've been doing it for like a year, seeing it, visualizing affirmations. I've gotten out of the country, went to somewhere where there was mountains, but not the Himalayas. But that is what's in my heart. And so I'm like, well, maybe I'm not even supposed to go there. Maybe that's such a big manifestation. Maybe I need more assistance in getting there. I don't know.
Okay, so I appreciate this question here because it's going to lead to practicality. Okay, so the thing about when people want to manifest, right, they will tend to get into all these mental or spiritual gymnastics, right, instead of looking at the practicality of just going from point A to point B, right? So the first question, like for example, I'm going to ask you is this. Are you able to financially get up and go to the Himalayas right now? Or if you chose, say if you picked 6 months from now, are you financially able to get up and go if you planned it 6 months from now?
Yes. If 6 months, if it became available, and I knew that from today until 6 months from now, say December, which is my birthday, I could definitely have the funds for that.
Okay, so this is pretty easy it seems, because what a lot of people would be trying to manifest, if anything, would be, let's say, the financial means, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so in literally, you could go anywhere in the world if the finances is there. So if the finance is there, then what specifically is that you feel is the blockage that is stopping you from actually going and doing it?
Since you said that, obviously, but thinking about it, it's I don't want to go by myself.
Oh, so now we get to it. Okay, okay.
Not necessarily, anything intimate, but just to have someone who's on that level who wants to raise their vibration or do a sabbatical, to do a spiritual journey. I'll say it like that. People I know or people I'm around, they're still doing what they are at their level of doing, which is fine. I was there, but now I want to do something more spiritual. I really want to raise my vibration.
Okay. See, audience, everyone who's listening, as you see here, sometimes one thing seems large at first, right? As you mentioned, manifesting, going there, right? Seems like this big, large thing, right? And then when I mentioned, for example, well, most people's, if anything, it would be a financial manifestation because they cannot financially foresee anywhere in the near future to go there. But of course, we get to that, and you say, no, that's not the case. No, I'll be able to go there in even 6 months if I wanted to. Okay, that's the major thing. So now that we get the details of it, it's that pretty much they want to go alone. Want to go somewhere where you could share the experience with, in short. Okay?
Absolutely.
So, okay. So think about it is there are many people in the Meta Center, in the events and things we have, whether it be the more larger public events like the superhuman events, or whether it be the more invite-only events that we have that are more for those who've been working on their path and working on certain aspects of exercises and stuff like that. Many people within the group have been all over the world, okay? And one of the places we're actually going to is Tibet, right? And so that's in some time, okay? But it's not 6 months from now, but that's in some time. But people in the group have been everywhere from Peru to Egypt multiple times. Have literally just been all over the place, okay, multiple times. And so when it comes to those certain journeys, many people in the group or who communicate with the Meta Center, okay, have went on these journeys alone. Okay, and the thing about it is, and I would say 50% of those, so half of the time, they were a little apprehensive. Okay, they were a bit intimidated. Okay, because I'm going to an entirely different part of the world alone by myself, and not only just going there, not even just seeing the touristy parts, but some of these people got involved in like shamanic ceremonies and everything else in this other new land and everything else, right? So that's some serious stuff, okay? And that could be most definitely intimidating for someone who's not, let's say, even who travels the world on a regular basis. It could be quite intimidating, okay? So, but with that may be part of your journey. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, yeah, there's nothing wrong with going to the Himalayas or wherever else you may have in your to-do list with someone who could do that journey with you. There's nothing wrong with that. But what if it's meant for you to do that journey to at least see certain things by yourself?
Yeah, I went to Costa Rica for the same thing, to basically go on a sabbatical. And it was, like you said, it was very intimidating. I didn't speak the language, dealing with getting even to the airport, getting a ride from the airport deep into, not the jungle, but it was like a secluded place in Costa Rica. It was very much intimidating. So I came back home and I had to regroup and say, next time I go, I would like to be with other people, because I guess you just feel secure. So definitely, yeah,
and especially as a woman, that is something. Now, everyone listening here, especially as a woman, yes,
of a certain age. Don't say how old.
Yeah, but it tends to be a little bit safer for just an older woman than let's say if you were 20 years old, 25 years old. You get what I'm saying? Going to these areas and everything else. So. So with that, so as a woman, you should think about security at least, okay, and being secure. That's for any woman out there, even for the men too, for sure, especially in some of these places, but especially for the women. Let me tell a quick story here, okay? This is dealing with the topic, but somewhat off the topic, okay? And so women, you all can understand you all's, how people think of you and your perception in the world. So there's many women who are part of the Meta Center community who travel all over the world as well, right? And some of them, for example, travel, let's say this person in particular, that I'm going to talk about her story, she was in Egypt at the time, right? This is literally around July of last year, okay? And she travels all through the Middle East and everything else. And one of the things she said to me, which I knew of, but I never knew a woman who directly experienced it like that, is that when she travels through the Middle East and goes to these places like the pyramids and everything else, she can walk outside her hotel room and men would solicit her. Okay, and she's a so-called black woman, okay, black woman, quote unquote, right? And men solicit her and try to even grab her and say, come on, I know you want to. Because in America, the perception of, anytime you turn on the TV, you see women, of course, you all know I talked about the ratchet and everything else, all that type stuff. You see all this booty shaking, you see all that stuff. Well, that's a perception that's going across the entire world. And so because of that, these Egyptian men, and not only that, throughout the entire pretty much Middle East, everywhere she went, she was dressed because she's a well-traveled woman, so she dresses down and she's covered up the whole 9 yards. But because they knew she was an American black woman, they immediately felt that she was over-sexualized, and the only thing she thinks about 24/7 is sex, that they were propositioning her as she walked around. Okay, your image is extremely important. Okay, and that's why especially it can be dangerous for women to travel in these remote places because of these images that are painted everywhere. It's not, if that image was not painted, it would be perfectly fine. You'll be totally safe. But because of that image tainted that you're pretty much a whoremonger, okay, and certain entities, when you go to certain places, you're going to attract those entities, even if you don't want to attract them, just because of the perception that has been drowned, that everyone is drowning in of you. So that's just a FYI there for everyone here listening. So with that, going back to you, Mary. So, okay, so your energy is so there's a few things here, okay, that we're going to talk about a little bit astrologically dealing with you, okay? So first off, you said that you visualize, that you see, right? Now you are born under one of the houses, which of course is Sagittarius. That's your sign, right? And with that being your sign, a Sagittarius or that house, one of its attributes is the ability to see. Literally. Now other people could visualize too, okay? Other people of other houses as well, but that is your house's thing, to see, to visualize, okay? Also, that fire that you have to get up and want to do things, right? That's literally an innate. You shaking your head like yes, right?
Grand trine fire. I have a grand trine fire in my astrology chart. I know I love to go.
There you go, right? And so, and you have that personified. That's who you are, right? And that's of your house, okay? Also, it's a more masculine house, so that's the energy where you can. Yes, you're still a woman. Yes, you still may have, of course, still have the emotional aspects of a woman and everything else, but still at the same time, you are tough, okay? And you're not going to take it, and you're going to do it. And with that fire sign as well, you could be quite feisty if you wanted to, okay? So with that, some places in short, some experiences that we have, we were born into the world alone. Okay, when we eventually leave here, we're going to leave here, even if we have family all around us, which is fantastic, we're going to go into that sacred space alone, right? And so as we travel here on this plane, Okay, there are certain spaces that will require you to enter those spaces alone. Okay, so I mean, there's many places I've been alone. Many places that will probably scare the crap out of a lot of people. Okay, you know what I'm saying, but the thing about it is that I'm here. I'm still talking to you, so I haven't been, you know what I'm saying, nothing that crazy has happened, right? And so you just want to make sure that just do all the preparations that you would need to do to make yourself feel safe. That's what it comes down to make yourself feel comfortable. So if you're going to go to some remote village and deals, okay, we'll hire a guide from a trustworthy place that deals with that. You get what I'm saying? So that it would give you the comfort that you need. I mean, it's about what you want and need to be able to do that type of pilgrimage. Because going from the U.S., especially going to the Himalayas, Tibet, and all that stuff, that's literally a pilgrimage. Okay, and even though some people do travel, because I know of some of those people who travel all across Europe and the Middle East as like a backpacker, you know, going to hostels and stuff like that, and he did it all with $1,000. The fact is that that's a lot to do that. Okay. Most people, they want to go there, take the trip to Grand. You're going to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars for that pilgrimage, okay? So if you're going to do that, and if you're going to spend that type of money, then even if it takes you to take a little bit longer before you do it, to have more money just so that you can be comfortable the way you want to be comfortable, that's what I suggest that you do, okay? And while you're doing that, if so happen someone comes along that is on the same vibrational ticket that you are and wants to experience it with you and even able to experience it with you, then so be it, okay? So be it, but you did your part, and that's what counts.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
All right, so
Try not. Do. Or do not. There is no try.
okay, so that's Yoda, do or do not, there is no try. Okay, so I muted you, Mary, and I'm moving you back to the weight room. You should be able to still hear me there, but it is also on YouTube still going on right now. For the YouTube audience, are you enjoying the show so far? Okay, are you enjoying the show thus far tonight? So we still have 3 more people to go to. Okay, so it's going to be a total of 5 guests tonight. So I hope everyone is enjoying it. Oh yeah, just before I get to the next guest is Kevon. Okay, Kevon. So get ready, Kevon. You will be next here in a moment. But just a FYI to you all, I meant to mention this in the beginning, so I'm glad that it came up, kind of made me remember. I am working on a new event. Okay, so it's a heads up to all of you all who come out to the events all across the world, right? It's not a superhuman event, but it's superhuman-like, okay? Because what we're doing is, many people, I've been working on, we can really call it an art piece, okay? Because when you look at it from a distance, it looks like an art piece, but it's really not, okay? Because when you come up to it, you start seeing all the information, okay? So it's the event itself is going to be astrological based, okay? And it's going to be dealing with those aspects that govern us. Of course, as many of you know, I'm not going to tell the secrets of what I'm working on. I'm not going to tell the secrets of what the event will be in complete detail, okay? You have to just be there, okay? But with that, we all have influences in our life, okay? So, for example, even if you never met your grandma or grandpa, your mom and dad both have the influences of your grandma and grandpa. So you may be seeing them as your mom and dad, but in reality is mom and dad plus grandma and grandpa on both sides and so on and so forth that are all influencing you at the same time, okay? That's from the family aspect. But when it comes to the world around us, literally there are many external things, let's just say like this, that are influencing us, that have influenced us the moment we were born, even somewhat before we were born, okay? that are literally what we are born in. So we are like you were born into your family. Your family is your DNA, right? Your lineage, your DNA, right? It's the same exact thing like that, where it's like the DNA of the house that you were born in. And this is, of course, when I'm talking about something you're not going to be able to Google, okay? This is something that I've personally been working on with the decades of Western and Vedic astrological knowledge that I have. And I just been slowly just working on it, working on it. It's something that's as a personal project. But I'm going to make it into an event. Now, this event may be announced tomorrow or maybe 6 months from now. I don't know. It's whenever I finish this piece, okay? And when you come to the event, you're going to be able to look at your house, because I'm going to show the house on the screen for everybody to see, to talk about it. But I'm going to show specifically your specific house and all the attributes of that house, which will allow you to be in your perfected power. Okay? Real talk, perfected power. Because you will know exactly what house, just like we have the houses of Rothschild, we have the house of the Rockefellers. You have all these different houses, even larger houses that they are part of. Okay? That's in the physical plane, from person to person. These are all representations of planetary and astrological and even things of myth and lore that people may not know. So it's going to be, it's for that serious person on the path. Okay, so it'll be announced soon. You will see it in the text message or the newsletter in the near future. Okay, so going to the next caller here is Kevon, bringing you in here. So while Kevon is coming into the chat here, let's give him a hand clap for joining us tonight. Okay, so Kevon, let's see here. You need to attach your audio to the chat here. Okay, yep, I do see. Okay, so it asks to unmute you, Kevon. Okay, Kevon, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Tony. What's up? How are you, man?
I'm okay. How are you doing tonight?
I'm fantastic. I've just been attentive and, I've just been picking up nuggets as you've been interviewing, the people that came before me.
Excellent, excellent. So you were able to hear everything in the weight room?
Yes, actually, no. I was onto the YouTube channel at the same time. So I was kind of timing it for my turn to log off of the YouTube channel and then come totally into the Zoom call.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm glad you told me that so I know. Okay, so just for the audience sake, where are you from, Kevon, just so people know?
Currently, I am in Trinidad and Tobago. That's in the Caribbean. It's a very small tropical island. It's a twin island. And, we have about 1.5 million people here in population.
Okay. So we appreciate you joining us from Trinidad and Tobago. So, what brings you here this evening?
Well, to be honest, I have a series of questions. I've looked at Dr. Blair for many years.
Okay. One question or concern, okay? If you choose to, that's the rules for everyone. One question or concern. If you have more than that, then once your time ends, you could go back to the page, you could input your details again, and then you will be on a future show to ask whatever the next question or concern that you have. Okay? That's the rules for everyone.
Yeah.
To keep the flow going. So continue on.
Yes, I'm absolutely clear on that, right? Mm-hmm. So I was just saying that over the years, I was looking at Dr. Blair, and I had questions since then. There's a lot of my questions I will answer progressively over time. And tonight as well, I had a few questions, but, as I listened to the people that came before me, I kind of narrowed it down. And it's like, what I want to answer, what I want answered most. So it's basically about manifesting, but being more absolute. So over the years, I have gained a lot of momentum in terms of manifesting, but I want to become more master at it in terms of being more absolute. So I want to know, based on what you're seeing in my chart, what do I need to do to step further out of the way and allow that universal flow in terms of, what my desires are and how I can manifest them in a much quicker space of time.
Okay, so it's not about what I see in your chart. It's about what you are expressing. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Tell me, give me an example of something that you manifested, that you feel that you manifested based on how whatever method of things you do to manifest.
Okay, well, actually, who I am today entirely, 99% of who I am was manifested. 5 years ago, I was not the person that I am today. The first thing that I had to manifest was mentors or direction, So it started with meditation. I was like in an incubative state or a monk-like state. And I had to figure out who I am, what I want, and where I wanted to go. So it started like that. And I manifested mentors, I manifested opportunities. And today I've manifested people around me that are aiding me significantly in the attainment of my goals. So it has taken a while. So I want to understand, was it ordained to happen that way? Or could I have done something that, or could I have, done much more, for myself that would have allowed these things to manifest much quicker? So was it that type of learning curve? Was I supposed to go through that? Or in the future, can I be more absolute? So I'll give you an example. So even though I'm not biblically subscribed, I would use the story of Jesus Christ, where he was absolute. So there was a story where he was in the back of a boat sleeping, and the boat, there was large wind, the sea was rough, and water was entering into the boat as if it was about to sink. So everyone was panicking, and they woke Jesus up to the back of the boat. And when he got up, he was calm, he was relaxed, and he told the water to calm, he told the wind to relax itself, and it did it instantly. And I believe he went back to sleep. I'm not sure, but I'm just saying that it's about being more absolute. I believe that as we live this physical experience or this earth-like experience, that we must evolve in an upward trajectory, whether it's in a physical state or in a mental state. And I believe that in our mental state, we have the ability to attract. We have the ability to collapse time and space and allow permutations over time, to allow circumstances to be in our favor and most accurate to what we have visualized. So over time, my brain management mentor, he actually reminded me much more of Dr. Blair in terms of how we describe the brain and how important the brain is in terms of that electronic switching station to the universe and how we attract things to us. So I think that I've done pretty well thus far, but it's about answering those small questions that, I've been wanting to know about based on, if I could have done better, or in the future as I grow older, can I be more absolute? And can things happen much quicker in a shorter space of time? That's basically what I'm trying to ask.
Okay, so one moment here. Okay. So, okay. Everything takes time. The intro to the podcast says, that there's only 1,440 minutes in a day, right? So it's to show people that you don't have really that many minutes to waste each and every day. Now, with that being said and done, everything takes time. You could say, like, could I have manifested these things sooner in my life? Okay, if we go back to that portion of your life, what was your mental state at that portion in your life? Was your mental state the same mental state now? In most cases, people will say, no, it wasn't. Okay, then if it was not, how could you manifest what you manifested now in this mental state if your mental state was not that those years ago? Do you understand?
Yes, totally.
Okay, so The thing about it is that no, you could not have manifested unless you were in this mental state. To go to your next mental state, and what that will take is for you to be in whatever mind state or whatever, let's say, fortitude, because each journey, each aspect of your journey, you're fortifying yourself more. You're becoming a more perfected version of yourself if you're on that journey of being like the ever perfected being. Okay, and so that if that has a beginning, it has an alpha and omega. It has a beginning and an end. Okay, so with that, you cannot look at aspects of your journey and wish and hope that you were there previously. Now the wretched, okay, tend to use tactics to try to skate ahead a little bit further. Okay, whether it be sacrifices, the animal or humankind. Okay, whether it be manipulation of people to skip ahead of the line. Okay, but the thing about it is that when these people use these tactics to do that, have they actually earned their place to be there? No, they skipped, they cheated, or they have invoked entities or energies that are above or beyond them to assist in pushing them into positions that obviously naturally they weren't meant for, because if they were naturally meant for it, they wouldn't have to do that. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
We're all on a journey, okay, and that journey takes time, and that journey is about, are you paying attention to everything that you need to pay attention to? There are many aspects of our life and things that we've been through that we could all, especially most of us, could look back and say, how did I miss that? Right? And if we would just had caught that one moment, we'll be further ahead than where we are. Even if we are doing fantastic, even if we are way further ahead than, let's say, if we compare ourselves to other people around us, still in our own life, there are aspects that if we would have caught sooner, we would have been further ahead than we even are now. But we didn't, because for whatever reason, at that time, you were not ready. Otherwise, you would have caught it. So now with that, what are you specifically, or what are you trying to manifest that may be taking more time than what you ideally would like?
Okay, so, all right, so for a while, I've been many things. For a while, I've been visualizing the type of wife that I would want in my life, and a wife that would be a match. So whoever I am, a wife that would be that person who would complete me in terms of a match, right? So not necessarily someone I have everything in common, but someone who, okay, I don't know what's happening. My screen is, are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you. Mm-hmm.
Okay, my screen was flickering up. Right. So not necessarily someone I have everything in common with, but someone who I could call my match. I can't explain that any way other than that. Outside of that, over the years, when it comes to my career, I've been jumping in and out of a lot of opportunities, and it was like through the process of elimination. And today, I'm on a solid path in terms of the career, the direction, the path that I'm on. It's exactly what I've always wanted to be on. When it comes to hobbies, right? For example, Tai Chi. I'm somebody who grew up playing football a lot. And I don't even look at football today. But Tai Chi is something that excites me. And it's something that did not excite me 5 years ago. Let's be honest. So I had, as I was growing, so the things that I used to enjoy before, I wasn't enjoying them again. And I had to find new activities that are matching that level of vibration. So those are some of the examples. So it took me time, but career-wise, I found my passions in hemp, my passions in cybersecurity, and these are things that I want to do for the rest of my life. These are not things that I want to jump out of because it's trending or anything like that. And also, like I said, when it comes to manifesting, that woman who's for me, I've visualized that a lot. I've built myself a lot. I've gotten to know myself a lot, to know who I want in my life, so that when they show up intuitively, it becomes a undeniable feeling. So all of these things I'm proud of myself for. But for me, it was like, okay, is there something that I could do that could make this more efficient. So that's basically what I'm trying to ask you. It's like, within that pre-call that we had, you mentioned stuff like being in a specific geographical location, right, where the energy around would be able to aid me in manifesting further. Also, I've always sensed that if I live higher, closer to the ionosphere, and I'm able to, on a morning, meditate, I would be able to connect easier to the universe and allow, whatever I'm trying to manifest to show up much quicker. I'm just showing you how I analyze it over the years. And these are the types of insights that were coming towards me in terms of how can I make this process much more efficient, in addition to growing geometrically and symmetrically at the same time. So I know that it's to the degree of your growth path. I know that. But also outside of my growth path, what else could make that process more efficient? Or, is there something I could do or stop doing that? So that's why I said, in terms of you looking at my chart, it's about,
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
This may come off, there's not really a way I could phrase this that will come off gently, but I'm just going to ask it. Would you say you talk a lot?
I do. I would say that. But in this sense, it's about getting a point across and making sure I'm clear.
Okay. I mean, that's fine. The thing about it is that when it comes to you, you're already doing, yes, I mean, I do charts that tell people all types of stuff. But that, again, those charts are there for that if you want one of those charts. Okay, this is about a conversation. So, but in this conversation, there's a few things here. First off, let me tell you on the good side that you already are doing what you are supposed to do. You are also a Sagittarius, so you already have you come from a house of visualization, of seeing, okay, of liking to see things and visualize, okay, which you already have expressed many times here, okay, and the different aspects of tuning yourself, okay, tuning, tuning yourself to be able to be as efficient as possible so that you can move as efficiently as possible. You're already doing those things, okay? Let me ask you this. Do you trust the process?
Definitely.
It doesn't seem so, not 100%, because you want the process to be rushed.
No, I wouldn't say rushed. That's kind of stretching it. I wouldn't say rushed. It's like I want to gain insight and clarity, because all of these things I've discovered on my own. It's just that I've discovered it on my own. No one has helped me along the way outside of mentors who were able to just set parameters or give me general guidelines. But these are stuff that I figured out on my own. So it was just about seeing if there was anything extra or anything that I missed in terms of the fundamentals on how I can make this process more efficient.
The thing about it is that you keep wanting to make and don't think I'm badgering you here, because this is a point that you're here for a reason, right? And you said that you did this process on your own, and you want to see if there's more to be had and everything else. You've done a great job on your own. Just so you know, everything that I've learned, I learned on my own. Okay? So learning on your own doesn't mean anything one way or another. Okay? The thing about it is that what have you learned, is it what are you on the right path? Okay? That's what it comes down to. Are you on the right path? Are you doing what you're supposed to do? Yes. Okay. Is there anything that can make it a bit more efficient? This goes back to me asking you the question, do you talk a lot? When you speak, you are utilizing chi. When you speak, you're losing chi, your internal energy as you speak, okay? Some people love to talk, and that's fine. They could even talk for hours and hours on end. That's fine. Like this podcast here, right? We have a podcast, but I don't talk much at all, period. I'm a very quiet person, okay? So with that, you are doing, I'm listening to you, and I'm like, I want to give you a hand clap. Because the things that you're naming are the subjects or the aspects of moving through the path that many people that's what they have issue with. Okay? You are already doing it. Even though you learned yourself and you may feel that, whatever reason. That could be this, or it could be there's more out there of this and that. I get it. But you are moving efficiently, and you are, the way you are expressing yourself, you're expressing yourself intelligently and able to articulate how you have been moving along efficiently throughout the path. I mean, at this point, literally, I mean, can I tell you something? Pull up something, work on something within your chart that, of course, you would get on the website. I mean, of course, and it'll bring insight and everything else. But when it comes to having a human conversation, okay, a human to a human conversation, and listening to you how you articulate yourself, listening to how you express those aspects of your past, listening to what you want to manifest to, that will bring your path more fulfillment. You're doing what you're supposed to do. Now, on a website, there are tools like, for example, I mentioned in our private conversation, like the Astrolocation. The Astrological location chart will tell you, based on what continent you pick, the best places for family, the best place to in family could be having a family or manifesting a family, as you stated. And those charts I do, and they're there, okay. But still, based on how you're phrasing your questions and everything else, even if you had that chart, a conversation would still be needed. So now you've had the conversation. Okay. Now you've had the conversation. You're having it now. Do you understand that, right? And so from a person who's been doing this for decades, yes, I'm not going to be throwing, at times, like saying, oh, your Jupiter's ascending at this degree and everything else. There's no need for that. Okay, just have a conversation, and because of the knowledge that I have, okay, and the background I come from, and be able to listen in that conversation, what would be had for you to move along and continue to move along. So going back to, of course, the trust the process and the way you speak. In your own life, you can see, as you even mentioned yourself, where you've been, okay, and you can see the growth yourself. So in that, you see that you went from point A to point B, you went from point B to point C, you see that yourself. So at this point, you have manifested the different, let's say, righteous aspects of making your life better, more fulfilled, that has been in alignment with what and who you are and have manifested. So that's why I have to give the question when one speaks like you, is say, okay, I give you a hand clap. You did it on your own. You figured out for you, because the way I manifest may be a different way that you manifest. The way you manifest may be a different way than the previous caller Mary manifests. And that's perfectly okay. That's not necessarily a right or wrong method of doing it, unless you are sacrificing stuff and stuff like that. Okay? Because you're cheating. Okay? We all have a path, and the trust the process in where you are going. If that's something that you truly desire within your heart and mind, right, and you are going to respect that outcome, if it were to manifest within your life, and you are putting out those thought forms, then sooner or later it will be.
Okay.
Just make sure that you are ready and your eyes are open to be able to see when it happens. Because the thing about it is that many times the manifestation may come in ways that we may not expect. Okay? So like for example, you may want someone who, let's say, this is just simplicity here. You may want someone who you had this whole visualization that when she comes, she's gonna come speaking with a Jamaican accent, right? But instead, she's exactly what you want and exactly what you need. But instead, she speaks with a British accent. You get what I'm saying? So because that you're looking for you miss the forest because you're looking at the tree. You understand what I'm saying? So you're looking at this one aspect, oh no, I thought this was it. It's not it at all, because you are lacking the visual aspect of really what you are trying to really achieve, the bigger picture. You understand? So as long as your eyes are open, but you come from a house that sees, Okay? So as long as you are open to see, and as long as you continue to keep doing what you are doing, and I'm happy for what you're doing, and you trust the process, okay, that creator or God has been, you have been guided throughout, and you're having a conversation right now. You're not harmed enough where you cannot have a conversation. You are intelligent enough and your mind is there enough to be able to say, I can manifest and I can achieve those things that I have in my mind to achieve because I have already. Then literally, it's literally just a matter of time, brother. You know what I'm saying? And I would say, so in that, we're talking about patience, right? Patience. Because what would end up happening is that it would get delayed. The energy would delay it because you seem to be, not saying that you are, but if you are impatient, to teach you patience, it forces you to be patient. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no other way to rush it unless you're going to cheat. And then when you cheat, certain karmic things tend to happen and so on and so forth. And I don't think you'll want to do that because you're already doing a good job.
Right. That's what, I want to interject there. What do you mean by cheating? Can you give me an example?
Sacrifices the human or the animal kind. Praying to entities or astrological bodies, regardless if it's true or not, to assist, to push you in places that obviously you weren't meant to be in, because if you were meant to be there, you would be there without that assistance.
Okay, well, let me interject. I would say I've never done any of that because I've always considered those things crutches. And I've always known that, I have been impatient over the years. I've gotten a lot more patient. Actually, I'm extremely patient now, but I was impatient, in the early stages, of my development. And many times I could have gotten involved in activities that, as you said, would allow me to cheat. And I didn't do it. So I'm very proud that you've mentioned something that, I have bypassed, without much problems or much regret. Because I wanted to savor the victory. I wanted to make sure that when I win my way, instead of, giving some form of credit to an aspect of my growth that I could have done myself.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say you're doing a good, from one brother to another brother from in the West Indies, right? I would say to you, you're doing a good job. Okay, I would say we need more people who are on the path as you are, who are trusting the path, right? And at times we can get a bit anxious. It's not anything, when I'm saying that to you, the patient thing is not to chastise you, right? Okay, you're asking to be more efficient. I'm telling you what a potential aspect of that is, so that you can achieve what you want to achieve as quickly as possible. And that is trusting the process. Just be patient. You're doing what you're supposed to do. Just make sure that everything that you need to do for your own life, that you do. As long as you do what you do, as a man especially, women are attracted to men who are doing their thing. You get what I'm saying? Who are focused. Do you understand? Okay, because you're giving off a certain type of energy that a lot of women, that attracts. Okay, good and not so good women. You understand? So focus, do what you do, keep visualizing, keep moving forward, give thanks on a daily basis. And when it comes to the chi aspect, I didn't say anything like that, because you do tend to talk more. Okay.
All right, but just can I just interject before you finish that? I know that this is kind of compounding your point, so I'm saying something extra. But before you say that, I want to talk about my passions, meaning that over time, I tend to stick more to things that I enjoy doing and around people that I enjoy being around. And before the pandemic, just like the previous caller, before the pandemic, as Athena, before the pandemic, I wasn't that person who would be out and about like everybody else. And the reason for that is that this is my perception, this is my unique individual perception, that I would look around and I would say, hey, what everyone else is doing, that doesn't make me happy. So I need to find what makes me happy. And then it so happens that the first stage of that was self-development, the foundation of self-development. So I had to relax, stay more indoors, read more books, meditate more, get to know myself. So today, I really have that focus. And I don't miss anything on the outside because most of the excitement dwells more on the inside. So if I go outside of my normal duties of, heading to the grocery or paying bills, I head into nature. Nature is what makes me feel, it's like nature has all the wisdom in the world. You learn so much from nature. It keeps me relaxed. So many things nature does for me. And nature is actually what taught me the patience that I have today, because you see where in nature, everything happens systematically. Everything happens in its own time. Nothing is rushed. If you stare at a plant for 10 days straight, you could actually see, the plant is growing gradually and at a slow pace, but it's growing every single day. So I had to mention that to you. So you could continue talking about the talking a lot. So before you say that, I would say, I used to talk a lot when I was younger, but over time, I've been spending more time by myself, and I've gotten more reserved. However, because 99% of my life is what I am passionate about now, I'm excited to talk about my life. And not based on what I'm saying here now, but based on micro activities within my life. I'm excited to speak. So it's difficult when I'm around someone who I feel comfortable with. It's difficult not to express myself. It's difficult. So if I'm by myself, I don't feel the need to go and speak to people or, hey, I need to talk to someone. It's never that. But if it is that someone comes into my quarters or someone gives me a call and I'm fond of that person, or I believe that that person is, closer in terms of an energetic conversational match, I would more express myself. So based on what you're about to tell me, if you're saying that I need to be more reserved in terms of reserving my chi or my energy center in order to help aid myself in manifesting, I am willing to take that advice.
So you see what you just did here? You just did exactly what I said that you do. I was going to explain chi. You cut me off, which is fine. Again, I'm not chastising you, but I'm glad that you did it, because this is a teaching moment. Okay, so I sit there. I was going to tell you, and you did this a few times in this conversation. So when you go back and listen to the podcast, you'll be able to hear yourself doing this. Okay, so I'm about to tell you about your chi. You had to tell me something else. Okay, instead of sitting back and just getting the answer, right? I'm saying, or which may lead to something, you had to cut me off again to explain about how your chi is, and then if I'm going to say something about your chi, is it going to be like this when you say it? It's like, man, you did all of that. Okay, so the thing about it is, again, it goes back to my original statement that I said in the beginning, or close to the beginning, that do you talk a lot, brother? And that's to say, because I was recognizing the expression of your chi. Okay, the thing about it is, when it comes to one aspect of manifestation, right? Because one of the questions you asked is about manifestation, and again, in this conversation, I'm not going to again say your Sharon is at 1 degree. I'm not going to say that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to just have a conversation with you, and through that conversation, everything that needs to be known is known. Okay? So with that, when one wants to manifest, one aspect of their manifestation, even though they're visualization is one thing that you'll see about online, or all over the place online, but one thing that you will not see a lot of is just keeping your mouth shut. I mean, literally.
Right.
Not talking. I'm not talking about privately. Of course, privately, we really don't talk. You know what I'm saying? That's privately. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to circumstances where you could talk, that's when you keep quiet. Okay? Because unless you actually have to talk, unless you actually have to speak, you speak. If you don't have to literally speak, keep your mouth shut. What you're doing is you're reserving not only your chi, but now you're building up aspects of your internal energy, because instead of being expressed like in doing what you have done a few times even during our conversation. Okay, so because of that, if you stop doing that, even within, let's say, 1 month, you may add 10 to 20% power to your visual manifestation. But so, I'm glad I repeated that again, because other than that one aspect even there you would have missed, because you wanted to tell me about how you feel about chi and about manifesting instead of listening to the answer of that was going to be an answer to your question.
Right.
So that is the lesson for you for tonight, that you hopefully at this point now will learn. Okay.
Understood. I'm hearing you loud and clear, and I've accepted it.
Okay. All right. So with that, but you're doing a good job. Okay. So let me make sure I say that again. You're doing a fantastic job.
Right.
I wish you well. Keep putting out positive thought forms. Okay. Keep walking positively. Keep spreading positivity everywhere you go. You understand? Because that's extremely important. Okay. Don't get bogged down by any negative things and stuff like that, because that will take from your manifestation ability. Okay. If you really want to boost up some things as well, I would like you to, let's see here. Let me. What color do you wear a lot? What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is blue.
Blue. Okay. During the week, what color do you wear the most of?
I would say black and blue.
Okay. I would like you to change from that black and blue. I would like you to start integrating more purple elements into your wardrobe. Okay.
Purple.
Well, purple, yes. Whether it be a purple tie, whether it be, it doesn't have to be like you go spend a bunch of money on a whole wardrobe unless you got it like that. But integrate purple so that you're wearing something purple every single day. Okay, it could be a tie, it could be a shirt, it could be a whatever, hat. I want you to integrate purple every single day of the week that you go out and stuff like that. Okay.
Can you elaborate on that as to why?
Well, purple is the color of, a lot of times in the past, royalty will wear the color of purple, but every house has a color scheme, okay, that it tends to gravitate to or hold on to. Sometimes even the color scheme of like the planets itself, okay? And so in wearing that color, you are attracting the energy of your house, okay? And that is what you were born under, and it's who you are, okay? You want to see, a lot of times without even knowing, we do the opposite of who we are because we don't even know, and what we were born literally to be. And then when we find out that, hey, this is who my family actually is, or where I actually come from, and this is how my people actually act, and when you just do those little micro adjustments, you start to see that literally it's like a gold-plated roll is laid out for you. You're like, wow, it's that easy just because I'm doing what my ancestry, I'm not doing the opposite of what my ancestors have done. I'm in alignment with them, okay? So it's similar to that, okay? So your house, one of the colors of your house is purple. So integrate that every day, a purple element in your wardrobe every single day, okay? But keep doing what you have been doing, and just stop talking so much. It's not anything wrong with what you're saying, and you're not saying anything negative, but you're expressing so much chi that literally you can fatigue, not yourself, you can fatigue the ears of the person listening.
Right.
Okay? And you don't want to do that either, because it may be someone who's listening to you who may want to give you opportunity, but about time they try to give you their opportunity, they're fatigued, and now they forgot the opportunity because you talk for so damn long. You understand what I'm saying?
Totally, man. All right, but I have one more question. What about?
One question per one concern per person
Oh
per
my.
show. But what can happen is a couple things here. If you feel that, of course, you could go back again. These shows are free. Okay, it's free to everybody. So you could go back to the page, put your information in again, and I will eventually get back to you, and you can be on the show again to ask your next concern. Between that time and now is your time to start practicing what you have learned, right?
Okay.
Okay. If you want some very specific things done, like the chart we spoke on, which is the astrolocation, stuff like that, you go on the website, you can purchase that. It could take me a day, it could take me a week to do. It just depends on how many people I'm doing. And in that, it will give you very specific insight based on what that's supposed to give. Okay, and that may help, and some people do need that. Okay, but when it comes to you yourself, because people tend to use those things as a crutch. Okay, and they don't do the work. You're actually doing the work. So those things will give you the extra icing on the cake that you just may need to just adjust a little bit. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, but let me just say this. So, asking about sex, is that a separate question in terms of, sex, allowing you to release energy and chi? So I was just gonna, find out from you if that adds, if it's the same thing as speaking too much, meaning having too much sex.
Yes.
Okay, that is the question I was going to ask, because it's similar to what you were saying in terms of speaking too much and releasing chi.
So, yes. So with that, before you start asking more questions and having another conversation, and this is not that good. It's all love, brother. All love. I appreciate the conversation, but look at some of the services on the website. They may give you assistance, but you are doing a good job. Keep on the path. Just be patient, and if you choose, if you have other just deeper or whatever type of concerns you may have, just go put your information in again, and you'll be on the show again sooner or later. All right?
Yeah, and thanks for having me, man. Thanks again.
Thank you for taking the time. Love, appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Take care.
You too. All right. So that was Kevon from Trinidad and Tobago. So let's give him a hand clap for taking the time. And talking to us, effectively and efficiently for quite a while. All right, so here we go. So appreciate that, brother. Okay, so next. Okay, so we got 2 people left here. And so the next caller we have here is Tamikia. Okay, Tamikia, I want to make sure I pronounce your name correctly. So you're the next one we have here. And so I'm going to bring you in. And I do see you there. So, all right. I'm about to bring you in now. Okay. All right, Tamikia. Unmute your phone. All right, Tamikia, unmute your phone. You are live here. Everyone, throw up a 1 in the chat. Throw up a 1 in the chat if you are enjoying the show. Throw a 1 up in the chat, the number 1. Okay, if you're enjoying tonight's show. Again, Tamikia, one more time here before we go to the next person. Then I have to bring you back in later. Tamikia, unmute yourself. Okay, one last time. Tamikia, unmute yourself. Okay, so we're going to go to the next one because Tamikia seems to not be around right now. So, our last caller, now hopefully Tamikia does come back to the show here so she could come on. But the next caller here is Alessandra. Okay. I added a little bit extra on it, a little extra flair. Okay. But you are going to be the next caller here, so I'm going to bring you in. Alessandra. Okay, unmute yourself, Alessandra. Unmute yourself. Alessandra, unmute yourself.
Hello, can you?
Okay, I can hear you.
Go.
There she is. Okay. Pronounce your name for me so I make sure I get it right.
Sure, it's Alessandra.
Alessandra. Okay, I added a bunch of extra flair to it. And yeah. So okay, so how are you doing tonight, Alessandra?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm so happy to be here with all of you. Grateful that I was chosen to do this on Manifestation Wednesday for the first time. So I feel good.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so of course, I'm sure have you been listening to the show thus far?
Yes, it's been wonderful.
Excellent, excellent. So, okay, so you've been seeing how the flow goes. And so, to give you a hand clap for being here. Okay, so all that good stuff.
Thank you.
Yes, very, very welcome. Okay, so just so the audience knows, what state are you from?
New Jersey.
Okay. And what is your concern tonight?
Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up into one thing. I can wrap this up. My concern is I've been having a lot of hard lessons all throughout my life, very hard lessons for me to manifest what I want. I'm definitely manifesting what I want, but it's happening so slowly, and I'm okay with that. Recently, my fiance of 8 years, we broke up, and it happened out of the blue. It just was very abrupt, and we were supposed to go to premarital counseling because we were having arguments about more like really silly stuff like chores. I mean, it's not silly, but things like chores and I guess I was feeling like I wasn't getting enough help in the house or something like that because I'd have to pick out the garbage and do certain things, and I'd bring it up and I'd get ignored pretty much. And so we decided that we were going to do premarital counseling for years, and we never did it. And I mean, we had just come back from a trip, Texas, and then like the week later, we had this argument, and then he said he didn't want to do the premarital counseling anymore. I brought it up, and he said he didn't want to do it, and he said he didn't think it was going to work. The counseling wasn't going to help us fix our problems. And then, so 2 weeks later, basically, he moved back to, his hometown where his family lives. And it was very shocking for me. And I'm always getting these kind of hard lessons, like my heart gets broken. I just thought I didn't see it coming. And that, along with, I guess, a little bit of anxiety now that I have to make a way on my own. But I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be fine because that's not my concern, whether or not, because he didn't really support me because I make my own money. So yeah, I guess my concern is in love. Like, why can't I find, why am I attracting my heart getting broken all the time? But what I consider to be getting hurt, or is it me that I'm just too much to deal with and people can't, and I can't seem to get along with a partner? Because I didn't see that coming. It was kind of confusing to me, actually, because I really just thought that we were going to get counseling and work it out and get married. But then again, there was also like problems. I had a little bit of issue with my fiance's mom. We were trying to have more of I was trying my best to have like a friendship relationship, but that there was like signs that in the beginning of our relationship that maybe she didn't like me so much because she called me that girl once, and it was like an issue when she called me that girl because it like kind of made me feel bad. And then we squashed that, and that I'm only bringing this up because I think one of the reasons why we broke up was, and again, this is in my head because I don't have solid proof of it, but I just think maybe he had some kind of influence because I felt connected with him.
Let me ask you,
even though we were fighting, I felt like we were going to work it out. So there's a bit of confusion, and yeah. You were going to say something, Tony?
yes, so you had made the comment of, am I a lot to deal with? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know you, right? And everything I say here is out of kindness and love to help, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I think you know that you are a lot to deal with.
Okay.
But do you understand what I'm saying? It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. But, sometimes we as people can be a lot at times, for better or worse. Okay. So,
Mm-hmm.
and also, let me ask you this. Do you think a lot?
Yes. But then again, lately I've been a lot better because I'm practicing. I do think a lot normally. But I've been meditating a lot and clearing my mind and doing things that don't make me think. I've been doing like pranayama, deep breathing, alternate deep breathing, which really clears my mind because I'm not thinking about anything. So I've been practicing a lot not to think. But when I do think, I think it's focused thinking. I'm focusing on the task at hand, which would be practicing because I practice a lot because I'm a musician. Or I'm thinking because I'm writing, that kind of thing. I think that's how I'm thinking.
What kind of, what instrument do you play?
I play guitar.
Okay.
And I sing.
And you sing, okay.
And I write songs. I'm a songwriter. And I do it for a living because I'm a working musician, and I'm able to support myself through singing. I have like different organizations I work with. I provide music for non-for-profit organizations. Then I also do, different projects. And I do nursing homes and rehabilitation centers. I'm able to do that as a recreation and as music therapy. And I really enjoy it.
Anything else you want to think of or tell me?
No, I'm just, I feel happy and excited about.
Just so you know, that was actually, I was being facetious.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I
wanted to.
I often do that. Yeah, you said the gentleman before talks too much. I feel like I talk too much too. But I'm just trying to share information with you since it's important.
It is important. It is important, and I'm glad that you're sharing. So the difference is that he talks too much, yes, but you think too much. You're expressing what is coming to your mind, but at the same time, let me see if I'm describing this. I'm about to say something, and tell me, is it alluding to what is actually happening? Okay. He talks too much, but in your aspect is that there's so much that you want to express. What you are expressing is not really the whole thing. Really, it's not the full expression or to let the audience, or of course myself or whoever you're talking to, really know how you really feel, because the amount of expression, the details of expression that you will want to express, there might not even be a word that can describe, let's say, the beauty that goes on in your mind. Okay? And so you just try to express what you can of what you think of, but it's not fully what is going on up there. Would that describe a little bit what's happening?
Yeah, you're right. Like I often feel like I don't have the words to describe. So sometimes I think I'm not intelligent enough because I don't have the words to describe it. Sometimes I feel like I'm not communicating clearly.
Okay, so a few things here. So let me, okay, because you really haven't really asked gave a concern. You said things that you were concerned about, but you haven't really phrased that really in a question that can really be directly answered in a way. But let me ask you this. Why were you all...
I do have something I could say, but I want to hear what you're going to say first.
Okay. Why were you a fiance for 8 years?
Why was I fiance for 8 years?
Yes.
We didn't get engaged probably until like 2 years after we were dating, maybe 3 years, I'll say. Okay. So that was so we waited like 5 years.
Okay.
And why we were talking about it. Really, I told her we were supposed to get married in 2020 because 4 is like my lucky number, and I wanted to do it in 2020. And then early in 2020, that whole craziness happened, and so.
So pause there. So you could have gotten married beforehand. Okay.
I'll tell you why, though.
Okay. One moment here. Someone says in the chat.
Okay.
Okay, so for Tamikia, who's in the chat room, I do see you there. You said you cannot get in the meeting. You were actually in the meeting, but when I put your phone in, I kept trying to unmute you, and it just wouldn't unmute. So I do see your number there. After this call, you will be brought in. So just be, near the phone, by the phone, and I'm going to bring you back in, and then I'm going to hit the unmute button for you again. You hit the unmute on your end, and then we could have our conversation. So you will be on after this caller. Okay, so the thing about it is that, so you could have got potentially married beforehand, right? But then you wanted to, you thought, right, quote unquote thought, that, hey, 2020, that'll be that's my lucky number, right? And let me do it then, because 2020 is coming up, and then 2020, this whole craziness happened, and so it turned out to be very, let's say, unlucky. Instead of jumping on it at the time that you could have, let's say, thought about it, right? Thinking, the mind, thought about it, and thought, oh, I'm going to do it at this time, and doing it at this time actually turned out to be not so good at all. And this is not making fun of you. Let me say that. It's not making fun of you and everything else, but this is just a common theme that, and of course you're not going to express to me everything about your life, but this is a common theme that I'm sure if you go back in your life, you will start seeing a common thread building, okay? Some fabric being created, this tapestry of thinking sometimes more than one should. Okay, thinking into circumstances, and maybe even creating situations on this tapestry that really maybe you should just let go, but you couldn't because you were thinking about it too much. Okay, about the intricacies of certain situations, whether it be infidelity, whether it be it could be a gig, another gig to do. It could be an opportunity, just overthinking it to the point where you're creating threads in this tapestry that really shouldn't even be. You could have been more efficient if you just let things be. Now, for your particular makeup, that would be, you come from a house, okay? You come from a house that all they do is think, okay? Also, your house is a house of communication. Or only thing not only do you want to think, but you always want to communicate in some form or fashion, okay? Okay. So with that, and of course, because you were air and everything else, and then there's a lot of back and forth because you are a Gemini. There's a bunch of back and forth in your own head, okay? The duality of your personality, okay? So you have to understand that every house, this is not necessarily a negative thing, do you understand? At all. But it's that when each house has its strengths and each house has its weaknesses if you allow it to be a weakness, okay? If you do not fall within the abilities of the strengths and stay focused on the strengths, then you're going to be have a lot of ups and downs because the power of your house will take you all over the place. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So for
I
example,
feel that way.
Yeah. So for example, communicating, right? Communicating properly. Think about it. If you communicate properly, even if it's through song, okay, or even through actually playing the instrument, communicating, since you come from a house of communication, okay, that's fantastic. Fantastic way for a person in that house to communicate. But if the communication in the mind is not clear, you can give off the wrong thought, okay, or speak the wrong thing at the wrong time, right? But you come from a house. Out of every house on the board, your house is the one of communication. Okay, so even though other houses may be able to communicate super effectively, and a person may be up there and may be a fantastic orator, your house produces the best orators.
The best what?
The best orators, speakers, or people who communicate. So even though, let's say the house, the house Pisces falls under, or something like that, right? Even though that person may be a good speaker, you come from a house of the best speakers, the best communicators, okay? That those best communicators, those best speakers, in a way, the best of those who are able to think a certain way, they should be coming from your house versus any of the other houses, because the other houses specialize in other things. Okay? So with that, when it comes to a person of your house and your thoughts, when one finds that their thoughts are being either too much or being a bit erratic or taking them in directions that even they would say maybe should not be because it may lead to certain problems or issues, okay? If they just allowed things to just let go and just be, they would have been perfectly cool with that, but they could not do that. Their mind kept taking them on a journey, okay? Then you already are saying you're meditating, which is good. Okay, the meditation that I say, for me anyway, that I recommend, that's my go-to, that I still do to this day, that is just sitting in a space that is comfortable for you, not necessarily having any music or anything like that on, but in your case, since you are a musician and you come from the house of communication, meditation for you, see, everything is not a clear cut for anything. Everybody wants to put people in cookie cutter boxes and stuff and make everybody like a square and everything else and a blockhead. But that's not the case, okay? And because you come from a house of communication, because you are a musician, you like to communicate, but also, yes, you need to slow your mind down a bit, because in this case, you're thinking too much. Okay? Your form of communication may be actually sitting back with your guitar, as far as your form of meditation. Your form of meditation may be actually just sitting back with your guitar and just playing, not anything crazy, because that's a reflection of the mind, and you want the mind to be a bit just slower so your thoughts can be more efficient, more effective, and not as chaotic, right? So so you may sit there as a form of meditation along with the quietness and sitting there and just being quiet and breathing, rhythmic breathing in, hold it for a moment, breathe out at the same pace. Do that every day for 5 minutes, okay, at least. That's it. No crazy saying, any strange, affirmations or anything like that. Nothing like that. Okay, just that riffing, breathing. That's it. But for you, another form of meditation would be sitting back and just playing your guitar, right? Allowing the music.
Oh my God, I'm so happy you said that. I'm listening.
Okay, will be playing your guitar and allowing your communication, allowing your mind to speak through your fingers as it touches the clip hitting the guitar, right? And allowing it just to flow out, and close your eyes, allow things to be, and you just allow it to flow. Okay, there's different types of meditations that, yes, people could all join in. That's a common thread, like the one I just named, right? That's the one that I still do myself. I've done many meditations, but it's the one I've been doing for decades. Okay, it does wonders. It can make you more psychic, the whole 9 yards. But everybody's, even though that can work for the majority of people, there may be something for you that may be a bit more effective for you. Okay, and in your case, especially being, again, one who thinks a lot and really needs to, most Geminis that I've ever come across, they need to slow down a bit. Okay, because this world is not facilitating proper communication. Okay, it's not facilitating proper growth. Okay, then we have to figure it out on our own. Okay, and so most Geminis I've come across, they most definitely have the dual personalities. They most definitely are a lot of them have been bipolar. A lot of them, some of them have even been schizophrenic, and so on and so forth, because of that duality of their communication of their mind. So with that, we attract who we are. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you are a certain way, that's why you have to be very careful, and especially as a woman, right? Because you could get pregnant, stuff like that, right? You want to be very careful who you bond yourself with, okay? Because you could end up bonding yourself with someone long term that you're really not matched with, that will lead to a prosperous living situation, okay? Even if it could be prosperous family, prosperous in spirit, prosperous financially, okay, or all three, okay? So with that, one of the ways that you should meditate is through your music, okay? And allow yourself that time to do that. Don't allow anyone to interrupt you. Don't allow anyone to say that's not what you should be doing. Don't allow anyone to tell you that you're crazy, or any of these types of things, okay? Allow yourself the time to be yourself, okay? And when you're out in the world, allow yourself, even though the thinking deeper and deeper and deeper into situations can be a gift if utilized correctly, but if not, it leads to almost insanity. Okay, so in some cases, yes, I'm sure that you can affirm certain aspects of certain things. So one should, if you treat yourself well, right? If you treat yourself with respect, true respect, okay, then in many times you're not going to allow someone to disrespect you, okay, because you're treating yourself with respect.
Right.
Okay, start treating yourself. It doesn't mean in a situation with you and your fiance. I mean, you could have been he could have been a bad one, or you could have been a bad one, or both of y'all could have been a bad one, or whatever, or it could have been a mutual. It doesn't matter. This still applies. Treat yourself with respect, the utmost respect. Treat yourself the way of how you ideally would want someone to treat you, right? And everyone that you come across, you treat them with just I want to say treat them at the highest of it. You are treating yourself, but don't allow anyone that you bring close to you to not treat you with a certain level of respect when you are practicing and purposely treating them with a certain level of respect. If they cannot respect you for who you are obviously an artist, obviously, okay, in the form of a musician, okay, you obviously have a certain type of lifestyle, and so a person that you meet should be kind of accompanying in a way that lifestyle and accepting who you are, okay, and on your end, respect that person and Give yourself time to meditate. But even though I said all of that, and even though I hit the things that you didn't even ask, that you obviously were affirming, when it comes to manifestation, when a mind is all over the place, that mind will always have a lot of difficulty manifesting. And when they do manifest, the manifestation is always going to be erratic because they're not focused. Their mind, even if they're focused for a brief moment, typically with Geminis as well, the ones that I've met in my lifetime, they can focus crazy intensely, but it's only for brief moments. And then their mind's off to something else, okay? A mind like that is erratic, okay? An erratic mind like that will have a lot of difficulty manifesting things in their life because they can't focus on it more than a short period of time. So a person like that, each house, so this is a teaching aspect for everyone who's listening, okay? There's 12 houses in the zodiac, right, as we know, right? In those 12 houses, actually, there's actually a greater house that actually all of them refer to. But the 12 houses are around the circle, okay? And think of it as a person who has been chopped up 12 times. And as we're born into a certain aspect of that. But really, we should be all the houses. We should be one full being, not 1/12 of a being. So in many of these cases, a person like you will benefit from being with, whether it be business-wise or relationship-wise, with a person who you can accompany. You understand? Not like some signs can be more like the Lone Ranger. Okay, some signs are more so like support staff, and it's not anything negative about it at all. It's just that's their thing. That's where they end up being best at. Okay, and it could shine in their attributes. Okay, so with that, the one thing when it comes to men, okay, in relationships, the number one thing most men across the board, no matter race, culture, age, okay, is that for the most part they want quietness. Okay, they want things quiet. They don't want a lot of back and forth anything. And a lot of times they don't even want a lot of even talking. Not necessarily to the degree that we're talking about on this podcast, but that's more of the extreme because people here are more spiritually inclined, right? But even just in general, most men don't like a massive amount of talking and stuff, okay, or talking going on around them, okay, because men's nature, their logical nature, is a more focused nature, okay. So with that being said and done, did any clarity happen with any of that was said?
Absolutely. The thinking too much, the focus. I think I definitely need to be meditating with my guitar. I don't think I'm doing that enough because I want to be writing more anyway. So I think that would help me with that. I am manifesting though. I'm growing every year. And my finances are increasing as a musician. And I'm grateful for that because I want to make it as a work, like I want to make it in terms of my entrepreneurship in music, where I wouldn't have to like do anything else to make money. I don't have to go, like I shouldn't say that, but like, because I also teach fitness. And that's another income stream. I just want to be able to use my gifts and talents, to generate my income as opposed to working for someone else, right? I've done that many years. And right now I'm able to, I have a small business for my music. I'm an independent artist. And so this is everything you said is like pretty spot on. And my fiance was a musician. He was a trumpet player. So talk about quiet. I didn't get no peace with it was always like, horn players have to practice like for 2 hours a day almost, and he was very on it every day. So, I mean, maybe he wanted a woman that was, because I practice a lot too, but I thought that was like something that we had in common and that we were used to because we knew it was important to each of us. So I never had a problem with, those things.
Okay.
It did get kind of, yeah, but I mean, there's so much to it. But, so yeah, I guess, clearly the relationship, if it happened so abruptly that way, yeah, it could have been me, it could have been him, like you said. But at the end of the day, we're not together. So, that kind of says a lot right there.
Well, musicians tend to have at times a life like that. We've seen a lot of musicians who kind of have that sporadic kind of life. It doesn't mean it has to be that way because there are many musicians who don't. Okay, but it just requires you to be really focused on that. You understand what I'm saying? Let's say, for example, if I were to ask you, and I'm about to ask you right now, for example, okay, I'm about to put you on the spot energetically across space and time. If you had to pick your music and gift, okay, for that to be your main focus in life, or let's say marriage and what all that entails, which one, if you were being honest with yourself, which one would you choose?
I would choose playing music.
Oh, that's what I figured you would choose. That's what I figured, yes. And that's the problem, or let's say, it's not a problem in a bad way, but that is the caveat when it comes to musicians, because a lot of times they are that way. And that's the beauty, because if brought to the extreme, the world will be filled with so much beauty in art, as we see ancient paintings and of places across the world, and these ancient places of walking through. It's like you're walking through an art piece. That is what artists such as yourself bring to the world at its extreme. Okay, so it's a beautiful thing, but at times that type of lifestyle, because of what music does for you, as they say, you can only have one master, and which will it be? And so in your case, you even said, which I knew you were going to say that, is that it's the music. Because for most musicians that I know who are truly into it, it's always the music. Okay? So it doesn't mean you can't have a relationship or anything like that. That's just showing you a clear understanding, even for you, putting a mirror to your face. So you see, yeah, even if I have a relationship, my music will, at least at this point, always come first. So if it always comes first, that means certain aspects of a relationship will be negated. So now, since because you do said here, even you admitted to yourself, which I already knew, that music comes first, okay, then keep practicing your craft. Okay, go deeper within your craft. Okay. Now, everything I say, no matter what it is, the advice I may give comes from decades of experience, but still, even though that's the case, you take it all with a grain of salt for purity's sake. Okay, but still, in that, you can get something from it, right? So if you're going to be a musician, and between, let's say, a life with a family now, or music, you choose music, and again, there's nothing wrong with that answer at all, well, then I expect you to be the best musician that you can be within your energy. You understand what I'm saying? And if you do that, and if you're true to yourself, okay, then while you're on your path, as long as you treat people with respect, you keep doing the things that you need to do, right? If you see errors, okay, errors, errors in your ways, you adjust yourself, okay? Because sometimes we may act a certain way, but you, in self-reflection, okay, in reflection of self, you say, okay, yeah, I shouldn't have acted like that, and you adjust yourself, so you become a better version of yourself. As long as you continue to do that, and you continue to focus on your craft, things will continue to become better.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, I just want to cry because to come to the realization that, like who doesn't want to have a family, you know? And of course, I want those things. However, it's like I almost feel like you do have to kind of choose sometimes, because it'll take you in different directions, like your path. And you know, I love like the art and the craft of doing that. And yeah, you're right. You have to be the best if you're going to choose that, or you should be, because that's what you're choosing to do. So I really thank you for all that all your insights and spending the time with me to listen to what I had to share. I just want to make sure that, you know, yeah, I just overthink a lot, and I think I need to really, you know, one of the reasons why I'm overthinking is I feel like time is moving quick, and maybe I have like wasted some time. I know, you know, I've always wasted time, because if I think back to my youth, I used to play guitar for many years, but I was fooling around, meaning like I wasn't taking it seriously. But then again, I didn't have any real influences or mentors at the time, so I didn't really know how to, you know, put my energy into the right place. I was actually like almost a juvenile delinquent. I was a pretty wild child, and I feel like I really switched my life around. But that was like as a teenage year. But you know, I feel like there's cycles, and here I am now. You know, much better. Definitely have gotten out of that. You know, no direction, because I was never focused, and I was trying. I always liked to sing. The fact that I'm here, like being able to make a living with music, is for me such a big blessing. And yeah, just have to keep going, Tony.
Don't think you are.
That's it.
Know you are.
I mean, and also, like, I want to make sure, I want to do something for humanity, because all throughout my life, like as a teenager, when I was trying to figure out what I really wanted to do, I knew I liked music, but I didn't know how to become a musician, because it's like hard to figure that out. There's the music business, but then how do you get in there? I never knew. And so the route that I took was just like very long and drawn out. But finally I figured out how I could make money as a musician. But I just brought that up to say that I would do a lot of volunteer work. I was always like, I did like 3 fundraisers for the homeless shelter that I was volunteering with, and I worked with them for like 10 years. And I just always want to make sure that I can do something so that it's not, my art is not in vain. I want to do something for humanity and for, I want to give back somehow, some way. So that's another thing. I'm trying to find my purpose too, in all of that, because if that makes sense to me. So if I'm choosing, you know, to do music, I see Joy says all ego. What is there to prove? It's for me. It's not. I don't feel it's ego.
Don't look at the chat. Just focus on our conversation.
Let me get out of that then. Yeah. So it's more so, yeah, having like a calling, if I'm going to put my all into it. And I feel like I'm on the right direction, but you know, I wanted to call in. It was just, you know, maybe I'm not meant to, you know, have a husband, because my heart keeps getting broken. You know, I keep like having these failed relationships, maybe because I'm putting my all into the music. But you know, it's what I want to do with my life. That's why I made that decision, because it makes me happy. I know that like people are getting something from it as well.
Or do not.
I don't want to work a job. Like I don't want to. So, I think you just nailed it, though. I overthink. I need to meditate with my guitar. I think that's going to bring a lot of peace and more answers.
Yeah.
There's no answers. It's just more doing, I think,
Well, let me tell you this.
and being.
After I made that
Hmm.
comment, you just did hear a whole lot of thinking. I mean, you do realize that, right?
Yeah. No, I was kind of recapping what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of like recapping it
Okay. Well,
so that
mm-hmm.
I.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you recapping, our conversation. But the thing about it is, don't worry about it. To tell a person of your makeup, of your house, to not worry about or not to specifically, don't think about that. It makes you actually think. Okay? So, so the thing about it is that what I would just say to you is that meditate. Take the time for yourself to be able to do that. Okay? Both ways. Quieting the mind. Okay? Just the regular breathing in, holding it for a moment, breathing out. Start at least 5 minutes a day. If you ever do 20, 30 minutes, fantastic, but at least 5 minutes a day. And then allow yourself time not to, when you do your music, as far as in the meditative state, not when you're meditating, let's say you're not trying to write down stuff, okay, because you're meditating, right? Just allow yourself to flow freely, allow the emotions to come up and be expressed, allow the tears to flow, allow you to have that type of deep connection and meditation with the music that you're putting forth in that meditative state, and that's your meditation. Give yourself just time for that to be, okay? And if your thoughts are clear and in clarity of what you put forth, in time, the things that you want in time will manifest to be, as long as you can focus enough on that. Okay?
Okay. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. I really appreciate this call. I'm always going to tap in. I can't wait to visit Chicago soon and to meet you. And I'm going to purchase the book Lessons.
Oh, well, thank you very much. All that's well appreciated. Appreciate you taking the time to be on a call like this, because of course it's the first show, and I appreciate you. Okay, and know that you are appreciated, and thank you much, and have a good evening.
And you're so amazing, Tony. You're a great communicator. You really resonate with me so much. I'm just so grateful. And just with everyone that you've been speaking with, you take the time to do this. You're just amazing. And that's why I was attracted to the Meta Center from Dr. Delbert Blair when I was watching his YouTube videos. You guys are doing incredible work. Keep doing it. I have so much love and respect for you guys over there at the Meta Center. And thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
You're welcome.
All right. So let's give her a hand clap for taking the time.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is, and each person should find that truth out for his or herself.
Okay. So now let's move on to the next person here. So I'm bringing you in, Tamikia. Okay, I'm bringing you in now. Hopefully you are here. I'm asking you to unmute. All right. All right, Tamikia, you are in the meeting now. Unmute your phone. All right, Tamikia. All right, and Tamikia is our last caller for tonight. Okay, Tamikia is our last home. All right. All right, Tamikia, if you can hear me, unmute your phone on the Zoom. Okay, we're going to try to give it a one more go here. So, so far, of course, we've had a few callers here from all over the country, and we have one from the West Indies. As you see, people, I'm sure, well, you see people all over the world have similar, okay, I'm looking at Tamikia's comment here in the chat room. Okay, unmute yourself, Tamikia, in the Zoom. Okay, we're going to try to give this a few more moments here. All right, Tamikia, unmute yourself. Okay, there she is.
Hello?
There she is.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, I'm fine. How are you doing, Tamikia?
Yes, I'm doing fine.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so have you been listening to the show the entire time?
Yes, I've been listening to the show, yes, the entire time.
Fantastic.
Enjoying the show.
So just so the audience knows, where are you from? What state?
I'm in Birmingham, Alabama.
There you go. Okay. So, let me give you applause for being here. Okay, because of course in being here, it may not seem like much to do it, but it is a whole lot. So you are especially one of the first adventurers into this platform with this. So I'd like to thank you personally for that. So, with your heart open and ready to have this conversation, what is your main concern tonight?
Well, my main concern is kind of like the other causes. I like the manifestation type of thing. You know, I feel like I'm manifesting like everyone else, but my question is more along the lines of, is there certain stages you have to go through when you're manifesting? Like, as far as different things happening to you. Does that have anything to do with manifestation?
Things happening to you like what?
Okay, like I feel like I manifest like things happen for us. I have a group and an organization and stuff like that. But far as like me being where I want to be, having a building, doing the things that I want to do, I haven't manifested them yet, but I'm in the process of doing it. And so, but along the way, I have obstacles, like maybe different people, relationships, distractions, stuff like that. I do a lot of studying, like you was talking about earlier with the different vibrations and stuff like that. I studied some of the Hermetic knowledge with self-mastery, you know, a different transmuting your mind and feelings and stuff like that. And I was getting great at it. And then I went through an experience, and then it kind of like when you go through things, you kind of forget, but you have to kind of like get back on track. And then that was hard for me, but I got back on track. But it's almost like I have to pass these tests to kind of get where I have to go. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's the way it works. You just explain how the process actually works. And this is what happens during a conversation like this, right? Whether it even be personally, in a one-on-one call privately, where the person, I would ask them a question, and through them explaining, they end up answering their own question or the problem that they were experiencing, okay? We all have obstacles in our life. For those who are listening, all of our lives are like a. Do you know what a Rubik's cube is?
No, I don't.
Okay, that's that. And you've probably seen it before. It's a toy. Typically, it has a bunch of color. Like each side has a color like green, yellow, red, whatever. And you could twist them around. Okay, you twist them around. Okay, so all of our lives are like a combination like that. Okay, and
Right.
throughout our life, we're slowly trying. We're twisting different parts around here, twisting different parts around there, all to all to try to get one color on one side, and then the other color on the other side, then the other color on the other side. You get what I'm saying? To make it all
Right.
how it's supposed to be. That is literally how all of our lives are. Is that some are much more like that, some are a lot less like that. So, for example, right now, a lot of people, many people I come across have some type of issue about why they have these combinations of their life, right? Now, this is how, first off, the combinations work. Number one, you have the combination that you have in your life because that's what will take you to the level. It will make you have to do and expand and become a better and better in some form or fashion for you to get to your next level. That's your combination, right? Now, if I had your combination, it may be something that I may have mastered at 5 years old. And also vice versa, okay? Something that may be a challenge for me is something when you look at and you would do 10 times over in a minute. Where me, I'm still a year later and I still can't figure it out. Each of these combinations, all of our lives have that. Now, there are people who are born, some people complain about that aspect. Life is it's full spectrum. It's like a light, right? So, like, for example, in some parts of the world right now, there are people born on the, as some would call, the low end of that light, okay? Whereas the moment they're born as a child, as a baby, their arm is getting cut off. Their legs are getting cut off. Like an existence like that, it would be like the Congo or something like that, okay? Then there's the complete opposite, where there are people right now who are born into existences here right now amongst us who never hear about any of the struggles or anything that the common person goes through at all. Okay, they literally live a life completely. I mean, they don't live on this continent at all. They live in their own islands, their own existences, almost like an entirely different world, literally. Whole different community,
different polarity.
Different communities, a whole 9 yards, right? In polarity, right? A whole different polarity, opposite polarity. And so, in their entire life from birth to death is, you can say, what people here would literally wish for every day to have that existence. Okay? But the majority of people are somewhere in that middle ground somewhere. Okay? And that middle ground has all different types of combinations that make up our life, right? So for you wanting to manifest that next level, okay, whether it be, you say, get in the building, for example, okay, you're going to have to, especially in these times, right? There's it's not only the personal factors that we deal with in our personal lives, right? But we are in a society, right? And so there are external things that are going on around us as well that we have to input into our equation to try to get it to manifest. Do you understand?
Right.
So let me ask you this, are you in your business, are you, or even just a regular job, whatever?
I've kind of created all kind of businesses because I wanted like a community game room to give it to the kids for free, but then you can't just have something free. So I have a t-shirt business, so I make t-shirts. I bought products, so I sell products. And I do CNA, and so I have different clients calling me for stuff like that.
Okay.
And so I have to try to stay focused because I kind of do be all over the place.
That would do that. Now, just for FYI, for anyone here who comes on a future show, if you have a specific business idea that you're doing, don't mention it on the show. Keep that private.
Okay.
Okay. If anything, tell me privately, but don't do it publicly, because so many people will listen to the show, and who knows, you may have $1 million idea, and you're manifesting it, and you wouldn't want a bunch of people taking your manifestation. Okay.
Right.
So just an FYI. I tried to cut in, but it didn't do it in time. So, okay. So the thing about it is that in these times, especially, a person like yourself is actually doing better than a lot of other people. The reason why is because a lot of people solely depended on, before this whole planned thing happened that we know of, that's happening around us, a lot of people they only had like one job, that's what they had, and that's what they depended on, and that's it. Typically, those people who were multi-hustlers, okay, doing all the different things, when the planned thing happened, and everything crashed, and everybody's, people are spazzing all over the place, people who have multiple hustles, many of them didn't really skip a beat. They just kept doing what the multiple hustles that they kept doing. You know what I'm saying? Because they
right, basically, yeah, right.
Nothing stopped.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So even that in itself is a blessing, right?
Right. It is, right.
Because even though there are people who, you may want just that one thing, and I get that, and I get it, okay? But at the same time, in a situation like this, where, people are, because I may do a podcast on it, but there's some things coming down the road that are not as good unless people really get their act together, that those things that people are suffering from right now, you didn't experience the brunt of that because you just hustle the way you hustle. You have these multiple things you're juggling, and even though you may get tired of it at times, still, it allows you to maneuver and do things that people will look at you and like, how are you doing that? You know what I'm saying? Because they're so dependent on that one thing for their livelihood. You understand what I'm saying? So,
right, and see, stuff like that is easy for me. It's like breathing, but to everything is the opposite side. Like I've came a long way. I did like a 180 in my life, but I still have the drama of stuff like, for instance, I just want to be honest because that's the only way to get past it, right? And so like, I moved to a neighborhood. I've been here about a year. Like they've been throwing stuff at my house, doing type of stuff. Like I don't even know who it is, but I'm not taking the time out to find out because this is what I'm saying. These are the problems I have in the past. And then when people just for no reason mess with me, do stuff, and then like I'm not weak. I'm a Leo. You can see my chart. Like I'm very demanding. Like I'm not. And so, but this time, like I got so much going on, I have no time to pay attention to a little petty distractions like that. It was like I came to a crossroads to a decision: either keep entertaining that and going back and forth, or stay focused on your business, get your money, and get where you're going.
Okay, so first and foremost, again, kudos to you for moving past the mundane as we say, the bullshit. Okay,
right? Because there's been circles of that. I couldn't get past it to just now. That's what I'm saying. Like usually it's just like. And then it happens, and then the police come, and then, what I'm saying? But this time it's like I'm ignoring that tunnel vision. I got to stay focused, like that.
So, first off, continue to stay focused. You understand what I'm saying? And some things don't require crazy or outlandish thought forms or have to try to manifest to overcome. So like in a situation like that, for example, right? Someone keep messing with your home, and I want to get into the reason why they're doing that in some ways, right? So, but in your
scratching up cars, so on. But go ahead.
Yeah, put yourself a Ring camera up. You get what I'm saying?
I got a lot of cameras up now, but go ahead.
Yeah, and see, you see, I'm mentioning something, and you say, yeah, I did that already. See, that's what you do, okay? And so, and then when you catch them. Because really what it is jealousy. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right, I know this. But I help everyone give anything. I'm that person, and they don't even know that even if something happened, I'm going to be the person to help them because that's who I am, period. And I'm not petty to worry about even the stuff that they're doing because they don't even know me.
It doesn't even matter. You keep focusing on what you're doing. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And
of course.
And you do the things around you to protect yourself. Now, this is what I would suggest for you. Okay, when it comes up in conversation, then I would suggest it. There's a chart on our website. That's a new chart that I do. It's called Astro Security. Since you purposely, it wasn't perfect, but since you have mentioned kind of security-oriented things that people are targeting you directly, the Astro Security chart that I do is going to give full spectrum clarity on that specific aspect of your life, okay?
Right.
And it will tell you ways that you probably haven't seen at all, ways to protect yourself, and so on and so forth. Okay, that you haven't even seen yet, and you'll even see things in it that will be even holes in your armor. Okay, holes in your armor that is no way for me to know. But once I do that chart, I will know. Okay, and it will give you clarity and say, okay, before somebody even tries to attack me here or do this to me here, I'm already going to sew that up so it doesn't happen at all. Okay, and will allow you to live more in peace. And that's just a suggestion. You do as you choose to do. Okay, so now with that, what I would suggest to you, one of your
now all that goes back to my question. Like, do you have to pass? You see what I'm saying? Do you have to pass certain tests or certain levels
Yes, 100%.
Right.
The energy on the path. So picture the path as like you ever seen the movie with the yellow brick road? I forgot the name of it. Okay, okay.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. Right, right. Okay.
The Wiz, right.
So all of us we are all on a path. Okay, all of us are.
Right.
Okay, and sometimes on the sides, if you picture the yellow brick road, okay, you're on the path, and on the side of the path, in the rough, in the grass, there's entities and things that try to take you off your path. Okay,
right.
They are in as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, and as long as you do not invite them in. Okay, that's metaphorically, that's spiritually and physically. As long as you don't invite them in, they cannot touch you. But they're there to antagonize as you walk on your path. They're there to antagonize and try to convince you to get off your path.
Right. And it's been amazing because it's spiritual, because people don't know people. Like, they don't have a clue, like, who's helping them. You see what I'm saying? So I know that it's most different a spiritual battle. But as I'm trying to tell you, like, all that stuff have died down. I've done different stuff. And exactly what you're saying is true. Because, I had not let them in, not participate, and, like, build up a blockage, different stuff like that, get different predictions from the universe, stuff like that. And so things have stopped, cleared up with these things, with doing these things. So I'm trying to see if I'm passing the test, because I feel like that I am. And so I know that I'm ready to go to the next level. And it's like I have everything in position, but I got to wait for the door to open.
Yes, it's patience. The door is not going to open when you want it to open. No, it's going to open at the time when you are truly ready. If you are if you're doing what you're supposed to do, if you're walking the path the way you're supposed to walk it, if these different tests are coming up to pretty much antagonize you, okay, and you are acting in a way that you are supposed to act, okay, and you're moving past all of that, then it's just like the caller Kevon from Trinidad. It's just a matter of time for you to go to whatever that next step is. And the next step may not be what you think it is, but whatever that next step is, you will go to that next step. Okay, you have mentioned manifesting a building and everything else. Do everything that you're supposed to do, not only personally, spiritually, and so on and so forth, but even when it comes to researching certain things, even when it comes to, let's say, like, this is going to be predicated on my credit. Right? Okay, let me get if my credit's not up to par, if that was the case, then let me get my credit up to par. Right. Okay? These are very practical things that don't require any type of manifestation or any type of spiritual help at all. You just do the simple little task, and you get it done, and now you got that, and now you move on past that. Okay?
Right. And see, just to get a little deeper into what I was saying about manifesting, with my group and what I'm doing, and like I said, I study a lot of people, Tesla, Edison, and as Edison said, to build a new life, you just have to match that energy, that vibration. And so with doing the group and everything I got going, like, I'm like trying to build a new life for myself, trying to step into that wholly, what I'm saying, with spiritually how I am. And so it just seemed to be so hard to get to that next step. That's all, it's like, I just need to step over there, and it's like, it's taking so much to get there. I know it's the process. I just learned how not to hate the process, because I have to understand, that everything is a test. And, every time I was going through these tests, I would be so mad. So it would take me longer to get out of them, And so I just started getting over not hating the process, but embracing it to get to the next level. And that's the rounds of my questions. Again, just like, trying to get to that next level and just make sure you're on the right path. Because like Mary stated earlier, it's hard for us because like we're hermits. Most of the people on this line, from what I hear, these people study, we're hermits, and that makes you different from the majority of the people of the world. So you don't have people to travel with, you don't have people to talk to, and it's harder to find companionship.
So the thing about it is that we all have our tests, right? You seem to be spiritually in tune. So I'm just going to pretty much keep repeating the same thing over and over again. I'm saying you have to be patient. Okay, continue to do what you're doing. Okay, if you're doing what you're doing and you're confident in what you're doing, then continue on. But in you saying some things like using, because words mean power. That's why in the beginning of today's show, I said the whole spiel about in the beginning, there was a word. Okay,
Right.
because to show how powerful words can be, right? And so, if your mind, if you are thinking in any way that it's becoming hard or harder, and because you're trying to do this or do that and everything else, well, guess what's going to happen? You tell me. If you think
It's gonna be harder if you think it's gonna be harder.
Don't think you are. Know you are.
No, you are.
right.
Right.
But I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it.
Okay,
Of course.
You did.
I
So,
got you.
okay, so the thing about it is
Yes.
that since you'll see, it's much easier. A person who's already like you're understanding 100% what I'm saying to you. Okay.
Yes.
So with that, if you're thinking that it's going to be hard and everything else, but also who knows? Sometimes things are a certain way to protect you. So let me give you an example.
Of course.
Let me give you an
Yes.
example of this, right? Let's say you say,
Okay.
I really want to open up have a building to do this business or whatever, right? And your idea and everything may be fantastic, right? And let's say because you were in a rush, you just got into something where, let's say, right before the 2020 plan thing happened, right? You jumped, you opened the building, and you pushed yourself to do it in a way that kind of made you uncomfortable because you felt it wasn't the right time, but you was going to push because this is what you just really had to have, right? And then,
Right.
and your rent is, of course, let's say a few $1,000s a month and everything else, right? You had it all planned out, right? And then next thing you know, you only been there a month and it's all shut down, and it's been shut down for almost over, let's say, a year.
Wow.
Before you even started, you were already out of business.
Right.
You haven't even started.
Right, I get it. Right.
And you're already out of business now. You know what I'm saying? So the thing about it is, because with no income and have to pay the lease and everything else, and you're not bringing any money in, who can afford that? Especially
Right.
when you're just starting off. You dig what I'm saying? So
Right. See, I operate without a building now because I just use tent and I do different places and set up in different spots. I'll just say that.
Well, keep doing what you're doing, and at that time,
Right.
because again, the reason why I gave that scenario is because who knows, you may actually, because if you continue to do things the way you're doing and you're making money and you're making progress, the progress is not as fast as you would like it.
Right.
Okay. So with that, in that, you want just to allow the process. You want to keep pushing forward, right?
Right.
Within your space, right? Because sooner or later, it's
Right.
going to come to that tipping point sooner or later anyway. Okay. But you just don't
Right.
want you don't want to try to force it, because in forcing it, who knows what the, as we could say, God or the Creator. Okay. Who knows what it may be protecting you from.
Right.
Okay, and you would jump into something now prematurely, and all of your many men that's supposed to have been around you at that point to protect you are not there, because
Right.
you jumped ahead before they even had time to catch up to that point. Okay,
Right.
so with that, just take heed to the way of the spiritual mechanism, which I know since we do live this supposed 3D physical life, I know at times it can be overbearing at times. I get that. But in that, when you feel yourself getting that way, you meditate, remind yourself that you talked to somebody in the physical, okay, you had a conversation,
Right.
okay, that understood exactly what I was going through and told me
Right.
advice which I understood, and I get that at times it may be a bit difficult, but I can do it as long as I keep doing what I'm doing. Because think about it, I guarantee if I were to ask you, go back 10 years, from 10 years ago to now, are you doing better or worse? Let me ask you that. From 10 years ago to now, are you doing better or worse?
You say it again?
From 10 years ago, if you picture yourself 10 years ago, and then now, are you doing better or worse?
I'm doing better, great, way better.
Oh, okay. So you're doing better, right? Okay, what about from 5 years ago to now? Are you doing better or worse from 5 years ago?
Better.
Okay. We kind of have a theme starting to build up here. Okay.
Right.
What about from, let's say, 2 years ago to now? Are you doing better or worse?
Better.
Okay. Let me ask you another detailed question. During this whole BS that we have been seeing going on around us, right? When we see all the craziness going on, people spazzing out and everything else, even though, people all across the board may have took a hit, maybe a little stressful, stuff like that. We get that part part of it, right? But still, have you been able to maintain and keep everything going and not have to stress too much?
Yes, I have been keeping everything going. I haven't had to stress at all, for real.
So let me say this.
I've got one that can see.
Okay.
Okay. Right.
Oh, okay. So.
Is that from I Live, the movie? Because I love that movie.
Yeah, that's from They Live.
Right.
They Live. Yes.
They Live. That's what it is. They Live. Right. Okay.
Okay. So the thing about it is that if all those things are like that, a lot of people cannot say that right now. Okay, at all. Okay, but you have confirmed to the collective who will be listening to this, who are listening right now from all around the world, right? And who will be, who also will be listening in the future. You have confirmed to everybody along with yourself that yes, you do recognize that from 10 years ago to now, things are better. From 5 years ago, to now, things are better. You have also said that during this whole pandemic thing, it may have been a little stressful at times, okay? But even though it's been a little stressful to everything else, are you doing okay? You say, yes, I'm doing okay. I'm cool. Things are moving along. Okay now. Okay, you better be very grateful every day you wake up. Very grateful for the position that you are in, because a lot of people cannot say that. Okay, and it's not that you won't do better, but just keep on the path. Okay, and make sure your eyes are open to see. Make sure your ears are open to hear. Okay.
Yes. But I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it.
You dig? So the thing about it is that it's on you. You know what I'm saying? At this point, you just keep doing it, keep moving along, keep putting out positive thought forms. Every day be thankful. Don't let the wretched get into your mind and think you have to cheat to get ahead. Doing sacrifices and anything else to try to get ahead, because you're already on the path. You're already doing what you're doing. There's no need for it. Okay? And just keep it, because when you're there, you're going to be there because of your self-worth. Okay, you're going to be there because you have built yourself up to be a certain way, to be there. While people around you may be there because they may have sacrificed a few chickens, or they may have sacrificed a few children. You dig what I'm saying? Even though they may be there because of that, and they may be ego. But the thing about this, you are the righteous one there. You are the one there who has done her work, and you are there because of your own might, versus people who have cheated, to try to be there. And most definitely in the spiritual plane, there most definitely is a difference between the two. You dig what I'm saying? One is the cream of the crop, okay? The authentic one, okay? The other one is one who's the perpetrator, okay? Who's really the one who cannot ascend. So just be aware of that. You know, so there are people on this plane who are just like you, or aware of people like you, right? And we're all here in our different spaces and times, all trying to push forward and everything else. Just keep putting out positive thought forms, though, okay? And don't allow yourself to be overburdened by the nonsense that does go on around us.
Of course. Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me. And I hope you guys have a great night. Thank you so much. Love these podcasts. They're awesome.
Okay, let me say this to you. Was that, just to confirm for the audience and all throughout space and time, was any of that a confirmation for you?
Oh, yes, it was confirmation.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, well, thank you for being on the call, Tamikia. Do appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
You too. All right, so on her call there, let me put her out of here. So, okay. So, multiply.
Our impulses are being redirected. We are living in an artificially induced state of consciousness that resembles sleep. It was begun by a small group of scientists who discovered, quite by accident, these signals being sent through. They have created a repressive society, and we are their unwitting accomplices. Their intention to rule rests with the annihilation of consciousness.
Okay, so with that, just be aware that there are, for everyone who's listening here, that there are many on the plane across space and time that are all pushing forward in their way, okay, that are all moving forward in their way, and are all pushing for a better world, of course, the better space. You cannot help. A lot of people have this aspect of helping the world. You're talking to a person who's been doing this for decades. I've helped people, many people, hundreds. I mean, just in certain, even in certain places, helped hundreds of people at once. Okay, and from that point in time, I'm talking about in my early 20s to now, you're talking about thousands of people. Okay, so in saying all of that, I'm saying that there are people all across this world. Yes, it may seem at times that we are alone, but we are really not. Okay, there are people all across the world who want better, who are doing better, but to do better for people outside of you, first you have to do for self. You have to take care of yourself. Okay, you cannot give so wholeheartedly to others if you are literally even unable to even give to yourself like that. You get what I'm saying? If you're unable to even stand up, to even have the strength to stand up, how can you want to put people on your shoulder to carry them when you can't even stand up? Let's work on standing up. Okay? Let's work on standing up, becoming stronger, becoming more fortified within ourselves. So then we could put people on our shoulders, and we could do it with strong legs and back, and it doesn't cause us any issue at all. I hope that many of you enjoyed tonight's show. Of course, it was the first episode. Each show, again, we're building this as we go. Okay, so you're going to notice there's different upgrades each show as we go along, because your patronage is what's helping provide these, these different platforms for us to be together. Okay, I hope many of you do contribute to Project Etheric. Again, we're sending out a atmospheric balloon into the stratosphere. Okay, think of it as lower Earth orbit. Okay, and we're collecting all types of data, video and audio and all type of things. Okay, this is, again, who have you heard doing these things except government and maybe weather stations or something? Okay, and so we are doing this. Okay, and so it's because of your patronage, because of your positive thought forms that allow these positive life-changing experiences to happen, not only for us here at the in the collective here at the center, but also with you across the world as something you could be proud of as well. Okay, so with that, if you are interested in having a conversation, which I hope you will, I look forward to speaking with you, then in the description box there you'll see a link. The link will take you to the sign up page. Put your accurate information there on the sign up page, because it gives me the ability to maybe write some pre-notes and stuff like that, that something may come up in the conversation that may actually change your life. Okay, so with that, I appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. I wish you well, and I hope to talk to you soon. Take care.
This enchanted lullaby.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is, and each person should find that truth out for his or herself.
This enchanted lullaby. This enchanted lullaby.
You know what? Global family, look in the mirror. I want you to take a good look. You are the champion, the hero of your story. No matter how much praise you may give some of us who may help you on this journey, it is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Tony, again, I give you accolades for, I don't even know what to say, for all the efforts, man, that you put in my behalf.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is.
It is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Person should find that truth out for his or herself.
To help you see.
For his or herself.